The Justice Department declined to comment. The Trump administration announced a plan to transfer operational responsibility for federal student loan debt from the Department of Education to the Treasury Department, starting with about $180 billion in defaulted loans. Our quote of the day, "We become what we love, and who we love shapes what we become," St. Clair of Assisi.
Hey folks, it's the King Dude. You know that thing that you just can't cook without? You know, the thing you call your bread and butter, or should I say, your beast and butt rub. Now, my seasonal is quickly becoming a kitchen essential for hundreds of American families, and how do I know? Because they've told me so. It's perfect on veggies, eggs, popcorn chicken, and of course, pork ribs and butts. Make every meal a King Dude masterpiece with a sprinkle of flavor that you can count on. Grab yourself a bottle or better yet, a six-pack at shop.mikechurch.com.
This is Capcom. We are ready to go for launch at the Crusade channel launch site. New show lineup.
Go.
Broadcasting live on X, YouTube, and Rumble.
We're go, Fly.
Breaking news updates. Go. The Mike Church Show Band.
We're go.
We're go for launch for the Crusade Channel 4.0 mothership.
2, 1, lift off.
On August 4th, the Crusade Channel launched Crusade Channel 4.0, the mothership. And now you can see why everyone else is lost in space.
Listen, were you forced into getting a solar contract and now you just don't want it anymore? Maybe the solar company misled you. Or is your solar contract buried with hidden fees? Are you not saving the amount of money you thought you would on your energy costs? Don't worry. At the Solar Exit Hotline, we can help you cancel your solar contract, even if the panels are already installed. Our experienced legal team will review your contract and help you cancel it, possibly saving you thousands of dollars. You got to call right now for complete details. So listen, if you're not happy with your solar contract for any reason, we are here to help you cancel it. Call the Solar Exit Hotline now for immediate options to help you exit your solar contract. This call is 100% free.
800-932-1789. 800-932-1789. 800-932-1789. That's 800-932-1789.
Looking at lifestyle and cultural headlines, our saint of the day is Saint Joseph. You can learn all about him in the Saint of the Day podcast at crusadechannel.com/saint. Overnight blasts have been heard in Jerusalem and the Iranian capital Tehran as Iran marks Nowruz, the Persian New Year. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will hold off attacks on Iranian gas fields after being asked to by President Donald Trump. The United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Bahrain all reported missile or drone attacks. A drone attack at a Kuwait oil refinery has caused a fire, according to state media. Qatar's energy minister says its liquefied natural gas export capacity will be reduced by 17% over the next 5 years as a result of an Iranian attack on the Ras Laffan facility. I wish everything could be wiped from our memories like we just woke up from a bad dream. As Persian New Year approaches, Iranians describe their fears to the BBC. Just under 100 ships have passed through the Strait of Hormuz since the start of March, according to data analysis by the BBC Verify, despite periodic attacks on shipping in the area by Iranian forces. While some energy and everyday goods are still moving through one of the world's busiest shipping lanes, daily traffic is down about 95% since the war began on February 28th. The data provided by shipping analysis Kelper shows 99 vessels passing the narrow strait so far this month, an average of just 5 to 6 vessels a day. Our analysis indicates that about a third of these recent crossings were made by ships with connections to Iran, said the analysis. Comparatively, about 138 ships passed through the strait every day before the war, according to the Joint Maritime Information Center. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the country will heed Trump's call not to repeat attacks on key Iranian energy sites like the South Pars field. U.S. Ambassador to the UN Mike Waltz and a panel of experts will answer questions from CNN's Dana Bash and a live studio audience about what might come next in the war at 9 p.m. Eastern, after public outcry demanding an explanation. I'm Magdalene Rose for the Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation, because ethics in broadcasting matters.
The Crusade Channel, your news talk and Mike Church Show station. The King Dude rules the airwaves because the airwaves need ruling. Live, 7 to 11 a.m. Eastern on crusadechannel.com.
The crops is this Brondo stuff.
The Brondo's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops?
Yes.
Water. Like out the toilet?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be out of the toilet, but yeah, that's the idea.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Okay, look, the plants aren't growing, so I'm pretty sure that the Brondo's not working. Now, I'm no botanist, but I do know that if you put water on plants, they grow.
Well, I've never seen no plants grow out of no toilet.
Hey, that's good. You sure you ain't the smartest guy in the world?
Yeah.
Okay, look, you want to solve this problem. I want to get my pardon, so why don't we just try it, okay? And not worry about what plants crave.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
Yeah, it's got electrolytes.
What are electrolytes? Do you even know?
It's what they use to make Brondo.
Yeah, but why do they use them to make Brondo?
Because Brondo's got electrolytes.
It just takes one little thing to go wrong to delay the whole darn thing, and then everything goes kaput. Mike Church Show here on a free phone Friday, asking the question of the day.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
Well, I'll tell you.
Oh, and remember, Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day. So, you know, if you want to, go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt and jeans.
Do it!
It's free phone.
That is.
It's free phone.
Yes, it is. A free phone Friday. Day you are charged with the seemingly difficult task of telling us what we might talk about here on the program. To take me up on this kind, benevolent, beneficent offer of the use of these radio airwaves, call us sometime when you have no class. 844-527-8723, 844-5-Crusade. Email address, same as it ever has been. I am KingDude at protonmail.com, KingDude at MikeChurch.com. Official Mike Church Show chat room online at crusadechannel.com/chat. And I've been saying this a lot in this year that has been 2026. What a week this hath been. It's another one. What a week this hath been. Tomorrow is the first day of spring. Official first day of spring. Did you know, ladies and germs, did you know, and I didn't, maybe I heard this somewhere. If I did, I never internalized it. According to the sisters, today is the day the world was created, March the 20th. Maggie's nodding her head going like, yeah, everybody knows that.
I read it on
This is a well-known fact. Okay, well, it was not well-known to me. As a matter of fact, when I heard Sister Junipera today say it, I went, didn't know that. I honestly did not know it. In any event, tomorrow is the first day of spring. And, you know, if anyone were to ask me, what's your favorite season, Chickhead? Do you live in Louisiana? It's probably summer. You live in summer. Well, no, because summer is fire of hell hot here. So spring is actually my favorite season here. We just have wonderful springs, and it'll be beautiful and a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful spring. And then just one day, God will just decide, and Thanos or God snap. And then we go from beautiful spring to the Satan's furnace, all in one day. And once we go to Satan's furnace, it never gets back. Once you're in a Louisiana summer, you're in a Louisiana summer. And we're surrounded by water. It's always 100% humidity or 95% humidity. It's just hot. You probably get used to it. No, you never really get used to it. You just kind of work around it, basically. In any event, why am I saying all this? These are historical times. Remember what you were doing when these events that are playing out in front of us are happening. There's a lot to talk about today. But I'm going to start this program today, and I'll do this once, and maybe I will reiterate it in the last hour of the program. But I want to say something about all of this that is, if you put everything that's been going on the last month or so, roll it all into one giant ball, and then try to make some sense of it, and then draw some conclusions, and maybe make a statement or two. That's what I'm going to attempt to do. So wake up Granny, spank her on the fanny, tell her the good news. So anyone that was wondering about this can have their mind either placed at ease or become agitated. That's up to you. I have no control over it. So...
Incoming hate mail.
Hate mail incoming. Yep, it's coming. No one... Let me start with a statement. Now... Why did this matter to me, Trick-Eater? Because I think many of you are very invested in Trumpism, as am I. Or maybe you were. Many of you never invested. That's fine. But I think that we should try to get a handle or a grip on what is going on and what we think about it. What are we going to do about it? So let's start with this. Okay. No one has more invested in the Trump presidency than I do. And that's not a monetary. I'm not talking monetarily. So let's go back to the beginning. In August of 2015, I was still on the Sirius XM Patriot channel, and this is when, so in July is when he came down the escalator and made the famous announcement that he was running for president, and that, I don't even think that he had adopted the MAGA thing at that point in time. Maybe he had. you would start to see the Make America Great Again thing, and he would start to close his speeches. But I think that this was probably after he had secured the nomination. But in any event, because the initial Trump rallies weren't as large as they would ultimately become. So in August of 2015, this is 2015, so the election will be held for another 15 months. Trump comes out and he begins to campaign, and of course, I'm covering this campaign. You may remember that, and I can prove that I have been involved in this for 11 years now because I invented this. Trumpzilla. And whatever I would say, Trumpzilla, you get the sound effect. So if somebody says, I don't remember you, well, I do, and I don't care if you remember it, so shut up. There were choices to be made. Do you remember the 12 candidates that were on that stage in the early part of the debate? The ones that showed up in Iowa to shake hands, kiss baby, and eat sausage sandwiches and hot dogs at the Iowa State Fair? And then would ultimately show up at the Iowa caucus, and then many would also show up at the New Hampshire primary, and some of them would make it all the way to South Carolina. I don't remember. Maybe Maggie could pull the full list up here. I can give you about half of them. There was Trump. There was Little Marco. There was the early odds-on favorite. Everyone thought Jeb was the shoo-in. And I thought he was too because he could raise the most amount of money. But that was before Trump got involved. There was Rand Paul. I don't think Giuliani ran. And there was Carly Fiorina. Remember her? Former CEO. In one of the debates, Trump looked at her and went like, you ran Hewlett-Packard and you ran it into the ground. Bobby Jindal. There was Bobby Jindal, our former Louisiana governor. Oh, how can I forget Ted Cruz? Remember on the debate stage, you listen to me, I'm the most conservative. That man down at the edge, that Donald Trump guy's not conservative. I am. Rick Santorum. And Krispy Kreme. Krispy Kreme Christie. It became apparent to me very early on, that Donald Trump was was going to win that nomination. And it also became apparent to me, and this had been in 2015 going into 2016, it would also dawn on me or become apparent to me that there was something that was different about Trump. And that because he was outside of Carly Fiorina, he was the only political novice that was on that show. But it wasn't the fact that he was a novice. It was just the fact that he was Trump. And so as you get into the spring of 2016, remember Mark Kreslins is on the Crusade channel at that time. And Kreslins didn't like Trump. I can't remember who Kreslins was backing, but he didn't like Trump. And Kreslins and I would have some spirited arguments in some of our crosstalk that spring. But Kreslins, I think, would ultimately be won over because Trump went to Scotland or went to England and backed Brexit. This is when he had the nomination secured by then. It's when I told people, I'm like, this is a different kind of a candidate. This is not a Republican that I'm familiar with. I can even remember I did an interview with the editor of The Federalist at the time, David Harsanyi, in May of 2016, when we all went to Philadelphia. Jeff Johnson, you'll remember this. You were there. Junk Bond was there. The Poll was even there at the time. Many of you came out for this. We went to the Twin Smoke Shop for the big annual. Mitter Mundy was there for the Let My People Smoke event. Well, one of the people that called in that day was the editor of the Federalist.com. Who's the guy? His name was David Harsanyi. It was pretty much going to be settled that Hillary was going to be the Democrat nominee. It was going to be Hillary versus Trump. I told David Harsanyi, I said, I think Trump is going to kill her. It was going to whip her and whip her bad. Harsanyi disagreed with me. He said he thought that Hillary was going to win. He said if Trump did win, it would be by a whisker or whatever. At any event, my point that I'm making is that we were invested early on in Trumpism, if that's what you want to call it, or in making America great again. Now, yeah, I must have been okay at it because many of you that are listening right now were listening to that. That's 10 years ago. A decade. Can you believe it? A decade ago. So when I say something to someone about what is currently going on, my point is that I have a little bit of authority. Like I wanted to tell Bree Dale the other day, don't talk to me like that. Respect your elders, you witch. So let me say this to you then about this war in Iran as clearly as I can. And I had a spirited debate with a old friend yesterday over this, and I was really surprised to find out that he is a proponent of the Iran war. As a matter of fact, he is a proponent of Trump basically doing what the Israelites want, or the Israelis want him to do. And I was just really, really surprised at it. And he was pushing back on me when I was going like, no, that's not correct. Here's the view I have on it. And we were having this back and forth. And I finally said, bro, I have been opposed to American military intervention anywhere on earth unless it's in a just war action, a declared war, or you could convince me that there was truly an imminent threat. Like, for example, some of the things that our special ops forces have done against the cartels. I've called for this for a long time. Some of the attacks and assault against some of the more radical Muslim groups. I gave a speech in 2014 at Ron Paul's LPAC where I called for doing exactly that, but do it the right way. Do letters of marque and reprisal, let Congress authorize it, the president carries it out. I'm fine with it. So I'm not some shrinking violet that doesn't think that you should have a military. I've always said you got to have a Navy. You have to have a Navy. But since 2008, I have been opposed to every intervention. There is not a single one outside of the cartels that this show and yours truly has not criticized boldly and said, I dissent, including the ones that Obama did, all the ones that Obama did. The proxy intervention in Ukraine is just stupid. And so is this one. And I told him, I'm like, dude, you know me. For 18 years, I have remained rock solid, a non-interventionist. I have never wavered, not for a nanosecond, not in any one of them. Except, as I said, in the attack on the cartels in 2018, when Trump bombed the Syrians, when he inadvertently hit a couple of Russians. I said that this was an unjust action and it shouldn't have been done. Why did we get permission to fly over sovereign Syrian airspace? You know, he boasts and brags, and it's one of the things. Look, you just got to you get the good with the bad. And I said he was wrong for bombing the Syrians. And you're going to, he took out ISIS over the great. We created ISIS. The United States secret intelligence agencies created ISIS. You do know this, right? They didn't just pop up out of nowhere in the Levant. They were created by us. Well, then maybe you could say, well, maybe he was disciplining our own. And he bragged about killing al-Baghdadi and all that. Most of that stuff, I said, okay, dude, you're just flexing your military muscles. This is something different. This war, this is a war. This is a war against an ancient enemy that is not going to be beaten. And even if it is beaten, because they are historically an empire, the Persian Empire, they call themselves Iran today, they will reemerge. And they're not going to be happy with any of us. So I just want to be unequivocally clear. I have never been, for 18 years, for America's meddling in other people's affairs. Especially military speaking, we should have a Washingtonian foreign policy, which we haven't had in 150 years, apparently. So when I tell you, when I say when I ask the question, is MAGA dead? Is she on life support? And then we proceed to have a discussion about it. I don't want to hear that, well, you're Johnny Come. I'm not Johnny Come Lately. It's why I gave you this whole spiel here. I've been there from the beginning. And by the way, I was also at CPAC in 2012 to support Ron Paul, who would win the straw poll that year at CPAC for president. And Ron was going to speak, and I spoke for that in the LPAC room, and so did Jack Hunter and a couple of, and Tom Woods. I was in the room. I was in the main ballroom in 2012. We were waiting for Ron, and guess who came on before Ron? Trump. You know what Trump said? He got up there and he said, we got to do this, we got to do that. And he goes, that guy that's coming on after me, let me tell you something. If you put him as your nominee, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. Why did he say that we were going to lose? He said we were going to lose because Ron Paul would destroy our military. You know, I should have internalized that more, because I can remember going on air the next day and railing against what Trump had said at CPAC. Come 2015, as I just said, described to you, things changed. So in my spirited debate with my friend yesterday, I'm like, dude, I'm not telling you that you can't think the way you're thinking, and I'm not even yelling. I'm just telling you, I don't know why you think that you can you can throw all of these reasons at me that you want of why this is the greatest thing since proverbial sliced bread. And for 18 years, I've remained obstinate. And you can't convince me otherwise. I obviously believe I'm correct. And so I think this is unjust, as Cardinal McElroy said. I think it's foolish and stupid. I think the unintended consequences are going to be horrifically bad, not just for the United States, but I think for basically all of Earth. This needs to end, and it needs to end soon. So, having laid the groundwork, is Trumpism dead? Coming up next.
You want your talk radio shaken.
You expect me to talk?
Not stirred.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Truth never dies on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. That's 800-313-7757.
Hi, folks. It's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Spirit of 76. The Spirit of 76 details the true story of the writing and ratifying of the U.S. Constitution.
He is to be supported in extravagant magnificence, so that the whole of our property may be taken by this American government by laying what taxes they please, giving themselves what salaries they please, and suspending our laws at their pleasure.
This animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and is packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Spirit of 76 on a 2 DVD or 3 CD set. Available now at mikechurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723.
You're listening to the Crusade Channel, a Black Hat Studios media property. Broadcasting live 24/7 from Madisonville, Louisiana, and to the world via CrusadeChannel.com.
Hey, it's a King Dude with another free lesson in stuff you really don't need to know. Did you know that the Carillon de Sacre-Cœur flag was first created in 1903 in the village of St. Jude in Quebec? Its history, however, can be traced back to the Battle of Fort Carillon between the French of New France and the British. The battle took place on 8 July 1758 at Fort Carillon, which is now known as Fort Ticonderoga. Here's another fact for you. The Sacred Heart of Jesus flag that we sell is the original merger of two separate flags. And did you know that our Founders Trading Post is the exclusive maker and distributor of this one-of-a-kind, full-size, beautiful flag? Order a Sacred Heart of Jesus flag right now and take $5 off and get a matching Sacred Heart flag bumper sticker for free. Don't cost nothing. The Carillon de Sacre-Cœur flag will beautify any indoor or outdoor space it flies in, but supplies are limited. Order today at mikechurch.com/flag or call us at 844-527-8723.
The Crusade Channel is no longer free to listen, but it is free of commercials. And that's a winner for you.
Oh, better luck next time, buddy. Woo! Woo! Yeah, all right. Woo!
Whoa, whoa, SpongeBob. Slow your roll there, buddy.
Take it easy, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Now, let's calmly proceed back to more of what you bought your Founders Pass membership for, here on the Crusade Channel.
I'll be your friend.
I'll always be there. And when you're in doubt, and when you're in danger, take a look all around, and I'll be there. I'm sorry, but I'm just thinking of the right words to say. I promise. I know they don't sound the way I planned them to be. But if you wait around a while, I'll make you fall for me. I promise you I will.
It is a free phone Friday. This portion of the Mike Church Show, the one and only America's Morning Show, brought to you by our friends at mypillow.com/KingDude. For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com/KingDude. You'll love your MyPillow, your My Slippers, your My Mattress Topper, your My Pillowcase, the whole thing. Your My Towels, Clark. You'll love them all. Shop on them today. If you don't have the My Pillows in your house, pick yourself up a pair. Now, don't be selfish to your wife or your husband and just get you one. You got to get everybody one. So, mypillow.com/KingDude. Tell them I sent you. So now that we've kind of laid the groundwork for what we're going to talk about here, or some of what we're going to talk about today, and thanks for indulging me, all of you. Look at today's headline. 12 Arab nations condemn the United States action against Iran. No, I don't have the list of nations. I'm sure Maggie can find it. But If you are a Christian, you should mourn what is happening in Lebanon. If you are a Catholic, you should be outraged by what is happening in Lebanon. Yesterday, I want to point something out. Emperor Julian Yahoo, the apostate, held a press conference. No, I'm not going to talk about Jesus and Genghis Khan because you got to hear the whole soundbite. People that are playing that are completely taking it out of context. My comment to him would be, dude, you can't end the world and kill people in foreign countries because Will Durant said something you agree with or wrote something you agree with. Sorry, Will Durant is not the arbiter of just and unjust war, Benny. I don't normally do this, but here, just so you'll understand, I need you to play digital media file number 12. I can't talk about the rest. No, number 12. You want 12? I want the model ally, number 12. Because we can't talk about the Syriac Catholics and what is being done to them without number 12.
Questions. I can only tell you this. Look, I don't think any two leaders have been as coordinated as President Trump and I. He's the leader.
Pay attention.
I'm, his ally. America is the leader. Israel is, as the National Security Memorandum described us, I think a month ago, 6 weeks ago, I think, something like that. They called Israel the model ally.
Okay. Why would you play that, Mike? What did he just say? I'm the ally. I'm not the leader. Well, we know that this is either a wild, vicious lie because of the events that have transpired, or if it's true, then that makes it that much worse. What am I talking about? Let's pretend for a moment that Emperor Julian Yahoo, the apostate, is correct. This from Brother Andre Marie at Catholicism.org. Message from Bishop Nassif, Syriac Catholic Bishop of South Lebanon. And Brother goes on to explain that the following is from the social media platform X of Bishop Nassif. Brother says, this following is from the social media platform X, the Bishop Nassif referenced in a headline on that platform as Syriac Catholic Bishop of South Lebanon is probably Bishop Antoine Nassif, who is current exarch of Canada for the Syriac Catholic Sui Juris Church. This is a small Eastern Catholic church of faithful Christians who rejected communion with the anti-papal hierarchy of their life, of their rite, and embraced Roman unity under the Pope. It would seem that the Bishop of South Lebanon is misleading. Bishop Antoine Nassif is Exarch of Canada, was born in Beirut, and is a titular see in central Syria. If my little online research has proven inadequate, and this is another Bishop Nassif, that would be interesting because this unia is very small, and he gives the stat. Nonetheless, I'm posting it with the headline from X, from the Italian translation. Please pray for Little Lebanon, victim of evident Israeli war crimes. It is the homeland of our beloved mentor, Brother Francis, who was born 30 miles outside of Beirut. And then here's the message. Good evening. Allow me to share my grief with you. The Israeli army has just ordered the evacuation of Lebanese villages in a vast border region. The priests of the main Christian villages in the area, such as Kalaya, Marje Yuan, Mike, Dabel, Kakaba, Alma El Sharb, and Ibel, have refused to leave, as have many other Christians. They rang the bells of their churches to express their refusal. Yesterday, the brother of a friend of mine, Father Maron Ghaffari, pastor of Alma El Sharb, a shepherd who worked in the field, was attacked. He died on the spot. Half an hour ago, the pastor of Kilaya, my dear colleague, Father Pierre Alray, was attacked and has just been killed. He has become a martyr of the church and of Lebanon. In these villages, nothing can threaten Israel's security. We have been Christians on this land for 2,000 years. It is a blessed land trodden on by Christ and his most holy mother. We will not abandon our Lebanese land in southeast Lebanon. I humbly ask for your prayers for my brother priest in these Christian villages of southern Lebanon. May Saint Sherbal be with his church. May the Virgin Mary protect us with her angels. I feel honored by the courage of these Christians and their clergy. Warm regards, Bishop Nassif. So, 2 priests have been martyred, killed by Israeli forces. Now, can we go back now to the Netanyahu statement that he's nothing but a good ally? All right, what does an ally do? Well, it takes orders from the leader. He said that America is the leader. That means that Trump is the leader. So, are you going to try and tell me and the rest of us that Pete Hegseth's Department of War and that the commander-in-chief do not know of Israel's military operations in Lebanon that they say are part of the larger and broader war against the Iranians? And if they do know about it, what are they going to do about Catholic priests and other parishioners and Christians in South Lebanon being killed? Now, somebody's going to say, they're just a bunch of heretics. I won't play you the audio. You can go get it for yourself if you want. It's on myx.com. Journalist Steve Sweeney of Russia Today was in South Lebanon yesterday near one of those churches when a bomb went off. He's reporting, and then he there it is. Watch, he looks up. Watch him look up. He hears the thing incoming, and then it detonates right behind him. He's on a wall outside of a Lebanese city. This is an area. Now, Russia Today said this was an assassination attempt, that the Israelis kill journalists, 200 plus journalists since the war in Gaza began. That this was an intentional hit, that they were trying to take out whoever was in the press pool there, because the area where Sweeney is designated. In other words, you go in to go do some reporting, you try to get word to whoever the military forces are nearby. We're not insurgents, we're not resistors, we're media. We're only armed with cameras and microphones. So Steve Sweeney was nearly vaporized by an incoming Israeli missile that barely missed him. It detonated 50 feet behind him. I hear that Steve they had to take him to the hospital, and that he survived and is in recovery. Now, I bring all this up together. If you're going to be for the United States and the military action that's happening in Iran, and you're going to cheer that on, okay, fine. That's your decision. It's not mine. I make the opposite decision. Then you're going to have to own up to what our greatest ally in the region is doing. And that's why I played you the Netanyahu clip. Because Emperor Julian Yahu, the apostate, says he's basically following America's lead. Is America... Now, I know that Trump did condemn him from bombing the Southpaw Iranian gas field. They did it anyway. I pray no one in the Department of War is sanctioning the murder of Lebanese people. You know, Brother Francis came from Lebanon, our beloved Brother Francis. This is on you. This is part of your war. So, if you mourned over the people that were murdered in Gaza by the Israelis, and there were, 40 some odd thousand, I think the later estimates are 60 some odd thousand. Well, at least we can kind of claim that wasn't us. They were using our weapons, but that wasn't us. You can't claim that this time because you're involved. So, from a Catholic perspective, this is an unjust, heinous use of military force and power. And the people that are behind it are unjust and acting heinous. Now, I don't know why this is so shocking to people when people like me hear what I just said, knowing, again, I set this up in the first segment, that we have been saying the same thing, said the same thing about Obama, the same thing about Trump in his first administration, and the exact same thing about Biden and heels up Kamala Harris. In other words, we've been consistent on this. But consistency, well, that's only for us. That hasn't stopped it. Like Ann Coulter was joking about in her column 2 days ago, no matter how hard I vote against never-ending wars and wars in the Middle East and increased immigration, I get never-ending wars in the Middle East and increased immigration. So when we ask the question, and I think this is just, if you haven't seen it, I have access to this because I have a very old subscription to what used to be the American Spectator. They just call it the Spectator now. It's basically the English version of it. And I've maintained it for like 40 years. I mean, so it's the 1990s. The Spectator magazine, Christopher Caldwell was regarded as a conservative intellectual. If you've lost Christopher Caldwell, then you've lost the American conservative right. I don't think that that's correct, but Caldwell's piece is very interesting, very provocative. The end of Trumpism is nigh. And it's a very lengthy piece, so I'm going to read the whole thing to you. Well, it's not that long. What's his point? Okay, so many of you have been saying that MAGA was dead going back to March of last year. There are many people that have already bailed on the Trump train. Is MAGA dead? Well, to me, the answer to that question is, did you believe that there was a chance to bring about an end to the American deep state, what I have called Mordor on the Potomac River since 2008? Did you believe that there was a chance to make it heal and to bring about its end? Because you had to dismantle it. I did. I still hold out a modicum, a small modicum, a sliver of hope that it can be done, or something to that order can be done. But let me say this to you about the end of Trumpism or the end of MAGA. MAGA can't die because there's nothing to take its place. You know, Ron Paul told me once, he goes, Mike, you can't replace something with nothing. So if we want to beat the neocons and replace their foreign policy, we actually have to have one. So, you know, you actually have to have an alternative so that you can say, well, here, why don't we try this instead? So tell me, please, who is the leader of what will fill the vacuum if Trumpism is dead and MAGA dies with it? Tell me who it is. I cannot give you a name. There's no name. Now, that may change shortly. Who knows? Right now, I can't give you a name. There is no one. And there is certainly no movement. You'd like to think that there is, but there isn't. So that makes this situation, to me, that much more. I keep using the word infuriating. It's infuriating. It didn't have to happen. But, you know, when you start stacking all these things up, and we find out from Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch that Catholics are still probably being persecuted and spied upon by Kash Patel and Trump's FBI, you know, the bloom starts to wilt off of the rose, and you start to realize, and I think that this is just a realization, and it's not because there hasn't been an effort, because I do believe, domestically speaking, he has made an effort. And I also believe that the tariffs ultimately are going to work, and that ultimately there is going to be a reindustrialization. And certainly there is now. But there is nothing in the void to replace it. One more point about the Israelis being the greatest allies. which I think is just a pile of steaming cow crap. You know what I mean. Why did Emperor Julian Yahoo the Apostate defy Trump's command in all caps on Truth Social and bomb the South Pars oil field to begin with yesterday? Well, Maggie, what is it, number 5? You want to know why? No, it's not number 5. It is number 11. This is why. You want to read? Here. You always must look for a cui bono, who benefits. Why would he do that? Well, I can tell you why. There's a very good reason for it. Seems to me that this entire effort, why take out the Iranians? Because Hamas. They con you. No, they hate Jews. Hating Jews does not equal nuking Jews. Hating Christians does not equal nuking or hating or killing Christians. Intentions, well, kind of matter if you act upon them. So what may have been the real motive for this? As my friend, my special ops buddy keeps telling me, for a year now, Mike, they want annihilation. And I've kind of always just like, okay, dude, I hear you. Well, I think that I have now if not the reason, at least one of the reasons why they want the Persians annihilated. And this is why.
I think that what has to be done is to have alternative routes. Instead of going through the choke points of the Hormuz Straits and the Bab el-Mandeb Straits, in order to have the flow of oil, just have oil pipelines going west through the Arabian Peninsula, right up to Israel, right up to our Mediterranean ports, and you've just done away with the choke points for forever.
He just told you the whole story. That's the whole story. The whole story is, let me destroy the Iranians, let me annihilate them as a people, as a country, as a superpower, an oil superpower. Let's shut the Straits of Hormuz down. Let's keep them closed. Now, you have to do what Israel has always wanted you to do. Now, Saudi Arabia, build the stinking pipeline or you're next. If you don't build a direct pipeline to Israel, I mean, I'm absolutely flabbergasted when I heard this, when I watched this. And what did he say? Now it's time, Hamas, to do what always should have been done, Hamas. Build a pipeline across the Arabian desert. That may be a little bit more difficult than he's leading on. I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I know it was an engineering feat to build the Alaska pipeline, and many people said that it couldn't be done. Don't know about the Arabian Peninsula. Haven't been there. Have no knowledge of it. You engineers tell me. That would also be a couple thousand miles. Would require an enormous amount of energy because you have to have pumping stations, lift stations, as they call them, I believe. I don't know. You guys are engineers. I'm not. Only play one on radio along the way. He just telegraphed and told you that's at least one of the so blow up the entire Middle East. Scuttle the vacation wonderlands of the United Arab Emirates and the beauty of the Persian Gulf, and I just kill it. Start a war on it, kill it, murder their gas fields, make them so that they are annihilated as a people. That's not, folks, 96 million human beings live in Iran. They've never harmed any of you. Wishing them to be dead is not Christian, and it's not just. You can wish for them to convert, but you can't wish death and pestilence upon them. What kind of a Christian people wants a nation of 96 million to suffer? What the hell is wrong with you? Smack yourself on the face and look in the mirror and ask yourself that question. Now, if the Israelis are going to do this, they should right now be told, you're on your own, pal. Can you imagine the sense of betrayal that must be felt by the Sauds, by the Omanians, by the Kuwaitis? And I don't know how close we were to the Kuwaitis, by the Emirates, by the Qataris. Totally betrayed. Now that Emperor Julian Yahoo, the apostate, has let the whole damn thing out of the bag. The United States must withdraw. Should be our command. Like Joe Kent said last night, get in your legislators' faces and tell them we must withdraw. Get out. And you know what? So this never happens again. As Ron Paul has been saying for 30 some odd years, Rand still says it sometimes, somebody needed to pick the mantle up. Close those bases. We have to do this because we have been. Well, then close the bases. The Saudis don't need you to protect them anymore. They bought aircraft from us. Shut up about having to defend our allies. We're all sick of it. That's not really MAGA. If that's not MAGA, then you're not MAGA. Then you were military MAGA all along. You don't have to be a great military power and kill people all over the world using your military to be a great people. I'd say that using restraint actually would make you great.
The Crusade Channel, talk radio the way it should be. Broadcasting live from Madisonville, Louisiana, and streaming 24/7 at crusadechannel.com. The Crusade Channel, your talk podcast and Fiorella File station.
Fiorella is the literary savage who skips sensitivity training. She is the librarian who reads and reviews books so you don't have to.
Hello and welcome to the Fiorella Files. On my show, I will be introducing you to books, classic and contemporary, that you must read, should enjoy reading, or should not touch with an 11-foot barge pole.
10 to 11 a.m. Central, every Monday on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on crusadechannel.com. Live talk and podcast radio.
The way it should be.
Silver and gold. In these turbulent times, buying silver and gold is such a no-brainer that even snowmen know they should do it. Now, all precious metal dealers claim to be the best, but only one can claim they are endorsed by the KingDude, and that's Miles Franklin. My friend Andy Scheckman's a regular guest on my show and a regular genius when it comes to silver and gold, and I trust him with my silver and gold purchases, and so should you. So email Miles Franklin today for your exclusive Mike Church Show discount price list. info@milesfranklin.com.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. That's 800-313-7757.
Hi, folks, it's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Road to Independence, the movie. The Road to Independence tells the exciting story of the Founding Fathers' struggle to declare independence.
Boston, sir. Let me see. We command all our officers, civil and military, and all other obedient and loyal subjects to use all their energies. This is for you.
To use all their energies to withstand and suppress these rebellions, and to disclose and...
This animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and are packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Road to Independence on DVD and CD. Available now at mikechurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723.
When most people hear the word coffee, they conjure up visions of a ceramic mug in the palm of both hands and a woman slowly sipping. This isn't a Folgers commercial. It's for Cappuccino Holy Roast, and here's how I take mine. With a dash of vanilla, a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of honey, and lots of heavy cream. Add some ice, shake, and then enjoy, while knowing that's $6 the libs at Starbucks can't spend to ruin my life and yours.
Cappuccino Holy Roast in whole bean or grind is available at shop.mychurch.com.
Hello, Crusaders. It's Trader Jill, aka Lee. When I want the best in live talk radio in the palm of my hand, I always have it with the all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app, even for technophobes like Jim.
I heard that!
Listening to or watching the KingDude live or on podcast is just literally 2 clicks away, and installing the app is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. Tap login now or proceed as guest. See? It's really that simple. Don't ever be without the Master Chief himself. Again, no matter where you are, install the Crusade Channel app today.
The all-new Crusade Channel 2.0 app is the best way to listen to the Crusade Channel ever. And installation is so easy. Open up a browser on your device, go to crusadechannel.com/app, tap the download button, then open the app. It is literally that easy. Install the Crusade Channel 2.0 app today at crusadechannel.com/app. Only the Crusade Channel brings you the Saint of the Day read by actual nuns.
Really? Our sisters are actual sisters?
Yes, and you can catch their heavenly voices announcing the Saint of the Day on the Crusade Channel.
Oh, you boomers and your live broadcasts. I'm a busy girl. Sure, I'm very important only in my own mind, but can I get them as podcasts?
I'm not a boomer. And yes, all Saint of the Day recordings are available as mini podcasts on our app and at crusadechannel.com.
I see saintly binge listening in my future. I feel holier already.
The Crusade Channel, your news talk and Mike Church show station. The King Dude rules the airways because the airwaves need ruling. Live, 7 to 11 a.m. Eastern on crusadechannel.com. Everybody loves a good trilogy. The Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and now the King Dude seasoning trilogy. There's Beast and Butt Rub, Acadiana Steak, and the brand new Chicken Mamu seasoning, a lemon herb-based rub that's won trophies in barbecue chicken cook-offs. Now, we've bundled all 3 spices together, and you can get them for one low price for less than it costs to rent a movie trilogy. And the King Dude offers you his personal money-back guaranteed of your taste buds' complete satisfaction. Order a King Dude seasoning trilogy today at shop.mychurch.com. It's not tape or a Post-it or a candy bar, but this new 3M
is the freshest spin on true crime shows since dinosaurs were solving cold cases with fossil evidence. Yeah, it's that original, folks.
Mom's Murders and Mysteries. New episodes debut every Tuesday night, 6:30 East, 4 West, exclusively on the Crusade Channel. Live talk podcast radio, the way it should be.
Fossil evidence. Yeah, it's that original, folks.
Mom's Murders and Mysteries.
Who's got the right to tell you that? Who? Nobody.
The Mike Church Show is heard exclusively on the Crusade channel.
I do feel, Reg, that any anti-imperialist group like ours must reflect such a divergence of interest within its power base.
Agreed. Francis? Yeah, I think Judith's point of view is very valid, Reg, provided the movement never forgets that it is the inalienable right of every man or woman to rid himself or herself. Agreed. Thank you, brother. Or sister. Where was I? I think you finished. Oh, right. Furthermore, it is the birthright of every man or woman. Why don't you shut up about women, Stan? You're putting us off.
Women have a perfect right to play a part in our movement, Reg.
Why are you always on about women, Stan?
I want to be one.
What?
I want to be a woman. From now on, I want you all to call me Loretta.
What?
It's my right as a man.
Well, why do you want to be Loretta, Stan?
I want to have babies.
You want to have babies?
It's every man's right to have babies if he wants them.
But you can't have babies.
Don't you oppress me.
I'm not oppressing you, Stan. You haven't got a womb. Where's the fetus going to gestate? You're going to keep it in a box?
Here, I've got an idea. Suppose you agree that he can't actually have babies, not having a womb, which is nobody's fault, not even the Romans, but that he can have the right to have babies.
Good idea, Judith. We shall fight the oppressors for your right to have babies, brother. Sister, sorry. What's the point? What? What's the point of fighting for his right to have babies when he can't have babies? It is symbolic of our struggle against oppression.
Symbolic of his struggle against reality.
Let's do it! You gotta beat the clock, you gotta beat the clock.
You can boogie, love disco, love that disco sound. Move on your body, spinning round and round. But don't forget, oh no. Don't forget, oh no. The stars are 45, keep on turning in your mind. But we can work it out. Remember, twist the shout. You still not tell me why and no reply.
Sugar, honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you, honey. Sugar, sugar, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you.
1, 2, 3, 4.
This happened once before. I came through your door. No
How you doing? Hour 2, Mike Church Show here on a Free Phone Friday, folks. I want to let all of you in on a very little cool secret. If you're listening to this program on any service, doesn't matter what it is, and it's not MikeChurch.com, I want you to go and give it a try sometime during the program today. Now, let me warn some of you. I went over to your stupid site in the video you were talking about in the corner that automatically beautifully pops up and plays the show for everyone and then goes into the new window so easily, chicken. It didn't work for me. You suck. Okay, some of you are going to say that. As a matter of fact, you want me to, this will be fun, Maggie. I'll write the names of the people that are going to say that on a piece of paper, put it in an envelope and seal it and hand it to you. And then you can open it at the end of the show and go, oh, you got 3 of them. You have to be logged in, and you have to be a Dude Nation medal level members now. You got to be gold, platinum, or rhodium to see the glorious video without having to go look for it. And it's automated, and it's beautiful. And it even opens in its own little new pop-up window. It just plays right there. And you can surf away to anywhere else you want, as you heard during the break, because I did. And I forgot to close the window. And that's why you heard the repeat of the rejoin that we played. So, if you enjoy watching the program on video, I've just solved a major tech hurdle for you. Why do I have to go to this page? Why do I have to go to a menu? You don't have to go anywhere. MikeChurch.com, homepage, bammo. 6 a.m. every weekday morning, that window pops up. 10 a.m., it goes away. How flippin' cool is that? I mean, that's... We're all talking about it internally, going like, man, dude, you designed that? You're like, I know, right? You can also just use the radio button there, top right-hand corner. It's autoplay, so hit it. It'll play right in that window there for you. So you have your choice now. MikeChurch.com is turning out to be the destination place for this show and for the coolest talk show on the planet. And much more is coming. So if you're not going to MikeChurch.com daily now, and podcast.mikechurch.com. You can click on any season from the homepage that you want to. Why haven't you put it on the Crusade channel? Because we want you to go to mikechurch.com. There's stuff coming for the Crusade channel I'm going to tell you about next hour. And that's cool too. But mikechurch.com is hitting home runs out of the ballpark. And I hope it will solve a lot of problems for many of you. Now, I can't... The only problem of yours that I can't fix is I can't control your login. We are working on a fix that will make it so when you're logged in, you will stay logged in for, I forget however many days Allison is working on it. It'll be a lot longer than it currently is, but I can't fix that for you. If you're not logged in, it won't work. And if you're not logged in as a gold level member, you're going to get previews. And it's really cool because preview will play and it'll go like, hey, bro, you need to upgrade. All right. I've been talking about this all morning. So let's go to the Christopher Caldwell piece that everybody is talking about. Piece is the end of Trumpism is nigh. It's at thespectator.com. There is a piece about it at The Federalist by Christopher Bray. MAGA isn't dying because of the Iran war. And he says, what force, movement, or personality is rising in American politics or anywhere that becomes dominant and shoves Trumpism aside? That's a really great point. It's a point that I'm making too. You can't replace something with nothing. That doesn't mean Caldwell doesn't have a point. Damon Linker, kind of a lefty, pretty much a never-Trumper, comments on Caldwell and says, Trumpism without end. The right's smartest pundit thinks we've reached the end of MAGA, if only it were true. So leftards don't think that that the end is nigh as well. I'll leave it up to your fertile imagination, but I think that Caldwell makes some pretty good points here. And as I made in the last segment, you can't be Christian Catholic, you shouldn't be, and support this. It's not just, it's immoral, and yes, the United States blew up a yard with schoolgirls on it. That was us. If you can fashion some kind of an act of justice out of that, dude, I don't even want to know the mental gymnastics that you would have to go through to do that. If you can do that, then you can just justify, why don't we just get it over with and nuke them? You just drop an incendiary device on them. Having Donald Trump as your president probably resembles being a heroin addict. You undergo regular episodes of sweating terror and mortal danger. The end result, which is to get you, at best, back to normal. Now, this is Caldwell's piece. A year ago, the Liberation Day tariffs nearly caused the American economy to seize up before China mercifully let the matter drop. Then came the even more reckless decision to join Israel in bombing Iran's Fordow nuclear installation. Iran agreed to halt hostilities just as it was figuring out how to penetrate Israeli airspace with its missiles. But and by the way, for all of you that are macho men cheering on, this is the greatest military campaign of our adult lives, I love it. And there are a lot of people doing that. You know what else you've done? Real enemies that we have across the globe, including the Chinese and the Chinese Communist Party, the North Koreans, some hardliners in Russia and other countries, now know exactly how our missiles fly. They know the patterns of the planes. They know the patterns of the planes taking off. They know how the ships get to a theater. They know everything now. That's intelligence. So congratulations. You got to blow up a bunch of 7,000 installations across Iran. Look at a cool video that we got on Fox News every morning. It's so awesome. Okay, fine. Your enemy also saw that. Yeah, but you can't understand the time. That's just the stuff the Pentagon, our glorious Department of War released. You buffoon. We reported to you last week that the Chinese have their largest, basically spy ship, parked in the Gulf of Oman. Just in international waters, they have a perfect right to be there. Just hanging out and floating in the beautiful blue-green sea that is the Gulf of Oman with every piece of surveillance equipment whirring 24 hours a day, 7 days a week while this is going on. Just spinning around and going like, oh, that's how you do that. Oh, I see. Oh, sorry, guys. Oh, raising cane. Ah, that's how you make a move. Ah, tiny guy. Yeah. Genius. Genius. Back to Caldwell. But now the president has pressed his luck. He has joined Israel. And look, please, don't insult people's intelligence. The Israelis are the cause of this. This nonsense. Wait a minute. I thought we obliterated their nuclear energy. They rebuilt it in 6 months, 7 months? Wow. Right. This is for Israel. Lindsey Graham will tell you that. How come Lindsey Graham doesn't have any problem? How come Mark Levin, get off of my show, you big dope? How come Mark Levin doesn't have no problem whatsoever telling you? He joined Israel in a campaign of aerial assassination and bombardment against Iran, this time of almost incredible violence, and has wound up trapped. American air power proved sufficient to kill Iran's 86-year-old leader and dozens of schoolgirls, flatten apartment blocks, and blow up much more of the country's navy, but not to neutralize Iran's missiles, which have been able to rain destruction on America's bases and Tel Aviv's neighborhoods. We lost a $3 billion radar installation on the first weekend. But go ahead, it's the greatest thing that ever happened in the history of sliced bread. Let's do it again. Ann Coulter jokes that Myanmar's regime is next. I don't think she's kidding. Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz, through which 20% of the world's oil passes. The reversal has not brought out the president's dignified side. He now boasts that the comprehensiveness of his glorious victory while imploring America's hitherto unconsulted allies to join him in a naval campaign to get the strait back open. The message seems to be, help, help, we're kicking ass. Just yesterday, all the new neocons, I'm going to start calling you MAGA cons now. All the MAGA cons are out there going, yeah, see, we Trump 4D chest those stupid NATO allies in the open the Strait of Hormuz. You mean the ones that he said he didn't need? Trump has escaped other predicaments of his own making, but there is something different about this one. The attack on Iran is so wildly inconsistent with the wishes of his own base. Now, I want to do a mathematical exercise with everyone right now, because CNN and all the usual suspects, and even the White House put a communique out yesterday saying, MAGA America loves our campaign in Iran. President Trump has gloriously wiped out the Iranian Navy. The Iranian people are on their knees. And MAGA loves it. One poll says 100%, one says 90%, one says 85%, one says 84% of all Republicans are just loving this. Let's deal with the 90% of all MAGA. Let's even give you a say it's 100%. It's not 100% because it's not me. And I know an awful lot of people that are not down with this, but let's go with the 90%. So the Republican Party is approximately 40% of the electorate. 40%. The MAGA part of the Republican Party, according to pollsters, is approximately 15%. Okay, I'm not a statistician, but 40% of the population and then 15% of that. So that tells me, if my math is correct, that's basically what, 6% of the voting population is going, yeah! Take that to the midterms and see if you win. Now look, this is simple mathematics. Now let's just pretend it's 84% of stupid Republicans. A number that is just unfathomable to me. Well, let's just pretend it's correct. Okay. That would then mean 84% of 40% of the population. So now you're in what? The mid-30s. So now you have a third of the population. Let's throw in that 10% of lefty Democrats who are non-Christian Jewish Zionists. Throw in another 10%. You might be able to get to somewhere around 40% approval. Wars start off star-spangled awesome for the American military. They end in tragedy. The longer they go on, the less people approve because more bodies start coming home in flag-draped coffins. Yesterday, Pete Hegseth let the big cat out of the bag. Oh, that is, you got inflation is under control. My administration, and by the way, I want all 7 swing states. I want them all. And the popular vote, and inflation's under control. The Pentagon is asking Speaker Johnson, to put a bill on the floor to borrow, how much is that? $200 billion for just this phase of the war. You're already 20% to Bush's grand total of $1 trillion in Iraq. Well, you know what? Let's make this really glorious, though. Maybe we can carry it on to the end of the first term. Now, folks, I am trying to be the voice of reason here. $200 billion. Okay, well, just Treasury will print the notes or whatever, and somebody stupid enough will buy them. And then you'll have inflation. Now, it's not a huge inflation. It's not like Biden's, but it's going to reverse any anti or deflationary efforts you had. It stops them. And it's going to reverse them. You're increasing the money supply. Now, if things are going so star-spangled awesome, why do you got to borrow $200 billion? Why can't we just take it out of the Treasury? Because, newsflash, the debt reached $39 trillion yesterday. Did any of you know that? So, while, yeah, great things have been done, I agree. I have cheered them on. I have defended them. I've told you. The totality of the program, this thing kills it. You need complete and total, immediate ceasefire and withdrawal. If you don't, then pray to mitigate the horrors coming our way in the future. So back to Christopher Caldwell at The Spectator. Is Trumpism dead? You're on the Mike Church Show. By the way, again, go to MikeChurch.com. You should become an upgrader. You should become a Founders Pass member today. Go to MikeChurch.com right now, and you can watch the video down in the bottom right-hand corner of the page. It pops up automatically. Depending on your level, or if you're not logged in, you get a free preview. Short one. You want to unlock that. Go to MikeChurch.com/join, and you can unlock it. Become a Dude Nation Medal member today. bronze, silver, gold, platinum, or rhodium. I suggest starting with gold. That gives you the video, the podcast, the transcripts, and the whole shebang, and a discount in the Dude Gear store. MikeChurch.com/join. Okay, back to Caldwell. Those with a claim to speak for Trumpism, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, have reacted to the invasion with incredulity. Trump may entertain himself with the presidency for the next 3 years, barring impeachment, but the mutual respect between him and his movement has been ruptured, and his revolution is essentially over. Now, it is true, he's thrown Tucker under them. He lost his way, there's something wrong with him, he's got a screw loose. He didn't actually mention Megyn Kelly by name, but he gave his pet lapdog, Mark Levin, a pat on the head, 2,000-word essay on the glories of Levinism. And the man that I call the mediocre one. Who's left? I think even Hannity might be wilting a little bit on this. Not completely. Who's left? People that were formerly neocons. And people that can't find problems with America's military intervention and love the sound of bombs going off and love to watch them on TV. Yeah, look at that, USA, USA. I rather prefer the U.S. men's hockey team and U.S. women's hockey team victories. I can get a lot of glory out of that and go, USA, USA. I don't cheer on people being killed in wars. If it's necessary and it's just, so be it. I'll even go and fight. If it's not cheering. Neither should you. Contrary to its portrayal in the newspapers, Trumpism was a movement. Now, this is what I think where Caldwell is absolutely correct, and I agree with this. I've said something to this effect. Contrary to its portrayal in the newspapers, Trumpism was a movement of democratic restoration. At the center of it was the idea of the deep state. In recent decades, selective universities created a credentialocracy. Civil rights law endowed it with a system of ideological enforcement. The tax code entrenched a class of would-be philosopher kings in the nonprofit sector, and civil service protections armed government bureaucrats to fight back against any effort at democratic reform. The Trump movement is what happened when Americans discovered the system could not be reformed democratically, only dismantled. It was not a move against democracy or even liberalism. In fact, it was a return to the original constitutional understanding that Hamilton laid out in Federalist Number 70. Americans are led not by a class-based bureaucracy, but by an executive they choose. We'll continue in a moment.
You want your talk radio shaken.
You look pale, Mr. Bond. I hope I didn't frighten you.
No, you see, I've always been a nervous passenger.
Some men just don't like to be driven.
Not stirred.
No, some men just don't like to be taken for a ride.
Truth never dies on the Crusade channel. King-sized truth from radio-sized speakers.
This is a pixel.
I'm Groot.
Now, if you put a couple of million of these dudes together, you can make a sentence on an LED screen. Put a couple billion of them together, and you can make a whole page. Put 160 billion of them together, and you've got Nina Gaynor's A Garden for Mary children's book. But it doesn't smell like a book. And it'll burn teeny little holes in your kids' teeny little corneas. So is the pixel really their friend?
I'm Groot.
That's right, Groot. No. But the Founders Trading Post is their friend. And we have actual books with actual kind of kid-smelly pages and pictures, because kids like them pictures. Plus, our little bookstore has everything the kids' parents expect.
I'm Groot.
Yep, we got the Beast and Butt Rubs, but nope, there is no Helen Reddy played here.
Pick up a copy of Garden for Mary, plus dozens of other Catholic children's books titles at shop.mikechurch.com.
The Crusade Channel and the slaves of the Immaculate Heart of Mary's Sisters present the Saint of the Day.
Hello, Crusaders. This is Sister Maria Junipero with your Saint of Today. Today's feast is the Feast of Saint Photina. It is fitting that on this day should be celebrated the feast of a radiant saint named Photina, which means light. She was the Samaritan woman whom Jesus met at the well of Jacob. She was martyred at Carthage in Africa and was thrown into a well. Martyred with her were her 2 sons, Saint Victor and Saint Joseph. She died in the 1st century. This day also commemorates the first day of creation, when God said, "Let there be light." Saint Photina, pray for us. Thank you for joining us for this brief summary of the life of today's saint. Tomorrow's saint is Saint Benedict. To access all of our Saint of the Day recordings as podcasts, head to crusadechannel.com/saints. You can learn more about our sisters and contribute to the building of our convent by visiting stphilomenaconvent.org. I'm Sister Maria Junipera, and until next time, God bless and Mary keep you.
Attention Coffee Police Academy students. We will now call the roll. CPA candidate Jones.
Present.
Joe Arabica Friday.
Present.
Tommy.
Oh, I'm here, sir. I just can't seem to keep my eyes open since I started drinking this Barrett Bargain Basement Stale Bean Water.
And just why are you violating CPA Coffee Code SPW1AM?
Well, that's easy. So I could save up money to get into the Coffee Cop Academy.
Son, breaking CPA rules so you can get into CPA is no way to become a coffee cop. Now, I'm afraid we're going to have to...
Uh-oh. Sounds like Lou has found the academy, and he's on his 2nd cup of Abbey Roast.
Well, what does he want?
He wants to know why the CPA didn't recognize his Rougarou nouns.
Rougarou nouns? And I'm the one that rejected his application.
Will Lou the Roo Guru have his revenge and grind the coffee cop into espresso? Stay tuned to this station for our next episode. And in the meantime, order Abbey Roast Coffee at shop.mikechurch.com.
Most Crusade Channel wannabes only get the mission half right.
Men, you are about to embark on a great crusade to stamp out runaway decency in the West.
So why settle for half-baked radio hacks crusading in mono when you can get the real deal on the Mike Church Show?
Now go do that voodoo that you do so well.
In stereo. The Mike Church Show's Great Crusade is on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
Hey guys, you got a minute?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
It's about my dad. He wants to have a sex change operation.
Whoa, I knew he was gay. I didn't think he was that gay.
No, Peter, he's not gay. He's a woman stuck in a man's body.
Yeah, gay.
It's totally different.
Sounds the same.
Well, it's not.
Okay, so he wants to be a woman so he can be a lesbian?
No, he'd date men.
Gay.
Yeah, gay.
Okay, this is not the help I came over here for.
Well, look, let's just all agree that he's odd, huh?
He has an appointment Friday with Dr. Hartman to have the procedure, and he wants me to go with him. I don't know if I can handle that.
Well, I'm sure your friend Peter would be happy to come along for moral support.
All right, but look, here's the deal. Anything he lops off, we get to bring home for Brian.
That's very green of you, Peter.
Was bidding, Mr. Blue. Sky is giving here today. Hey,
Root, no!
Please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong? Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong?
Great moment every Friday to play the beautiful Mr. Blue Sky song. And then the Baby Groot video dancing across the Guardians of the Galaxy screen in that scene with this little Walkman on. Mike Church Show here on the Ethics in Broadcasting Network on a free phone Friday, 844-527-8723, our call-in line telephone number. Pursuing the last segment, I'm going to continue with this is Trumpism dead conversation. According to dozens and dozens and dozens of media outlets, United States Air Force F-35 makes emergency landing after allegedly being hit by Iranian fire. The F-35 was flying a combat mission over Iran. It was forced to divert to a U.S. airbase. Now, the Pentagon says, basically confirms this and says that there's an investigation that's undergoing. Do you know what the nickname or what the people that designed and developed and what the Air Force calls the F-35? Unkillable. It is the unkillable F-35. If it's unkillable and you're not going to lay a glove on it, we can fly with impunity over anyone's skies. And if Iran's missile and other defenses have been totally obliterated, they all they have left is M80s and bottle rockets. How in the hell did they lay a glove on an F-35? Inquiring minds might want to know. Well, as I just said in the last segment, and look, folks, I have military guys that give me a lot of this stuff, all right? It's not me making these analytical conclusions. There are military vets, special op vets that tell me many of these things. The Chinese, the Iranians, the Russians, and anyone else that has a bone to pick with the United States are all loving what's happening over the skies of the Middle East and Iran, because they're monitoring all of it and they're figuring out how to kill the unkillable. So if you can shoot, if you knocked an F-35 out of commission yesterday and made it divert from its mission, well, what is this nonsense then about we have air superiority? No, you don't. Is it worth your obedience to Christian Zionism? And we're preventing nuclear devices for the next 100 years. Okay, is that fantasy? Is it worth having an F-35 shot down completely? Having a pilot have to parachute out? Where's he going to land? This isn't the Top Gun movie. I don't know that Maverick is going to be able to fly in there and get him out. So I just thought I would update you on that. That's just another part. Are all of the MAGA cons that are cheering the war on, are they telling you about any of these things? Did you hear about this anywhere else? You sure as hell aren't going to see it on Fox News. They're talking about Sarah Huckabee Sanders being kicked out of a restaurant this morning. All right, back to Christopher Caldwell at The Spectator. Is Trumpism dead? That, by the way, if you just joined us, that's a question mark. The Trump movement is what happened when Americans discovered that the system could not be reformed democratically, only dismantled. How many times did Mike Church show? That's why I joined it. It was not a movement against democracy or for liberalism. In fact, it was a return to the original constitutional understanding that Hamilton laid out in Federalist Number 70. Americans are not led by a class-based bureaucracy, but by an executive they choose. Unfortunately, this democratic idea is dangerous. That is why no one ever dared to try an American-style presidential system before 1788, and why progressives hemmed in the presidency within the deep state. Without it, there are really only two safeguards against a rogue executive. First, the public must elect a public-spirited person of unimpeachable character. Well, I think we crossed that Rubicon.
Can I have
What's that?
said, can I have option 2?
Okay, option 2. And second, that person must honor the Constitution. The Iran assault shows neither condition to be operative. Now, I'm not going to harp on the... Why didn't we give you advance notice? Why didn't we do... Well, you didn't... the Japanese... some people to ask about secrets. You didn't call us and notify us about Pearl Harbor. You didn't notify me about Pearl Harbor, did you? Guy wants me to give him an advance notice. Now, to be fair, he wasn't talking to the Japanese Prime Minister, babe. He was talking to the diplomatic dude who was sitting across from him who asked the question. So, what clip is that, Maggie? That is... Okay, well, I'll just keep reading. Whenever you get it ready, let me know. Well, there has always been a red line. Americans did not expect Trump's character flaws to endanger them in the realm of foreign affairs. U.S. Iran policy has been made over the past year by Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. You know, as soon as we saw... Remember, they kept him out of the campaign. This is a lie. They kept him out of the campaign, apparently knowing that you wouldn't vote. That you'd go, I'm out. Apparently backrooming him the whole time. Oh, he's going, no, Jared, you get to come in. Just let us get in, and then we can go. Jewish and Christian Zionism, and yeah, we can we can become Israel's second. We can become Israel's territory. Don't you think the farmers of Arkansas signed up to become a territory, a vassal state to the geopolitical, now global superpower, according to Emperor Julian Yahoo, the apostate of Israel? Did you? I didn't. U.S.-Iran policy has been made over the past year by Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and Trump's real estate crony, Steve Witkoff, working in consultation with the Israeli Prime Minister, Emperor Julian Yahoo, the apostate. Both Kushner and Witkoff carry the title Special Envoy for Peace, but neither of them has been confirmed by the Senate, as top diplomats and cabinet members must be. And Kushner didn't even release a financial disclosure statement. Did you know that? So all of you MAGA cons that remain out there, this doesn't look good for our movement. It just doesn't. So these two go to the Middle East to discuss with Emperor Julian Yahoo, the apostate, what to do about Iran. Emperor Julian Yahoo, the apostate, lays out Israel's priorities, which involve, at the very least, disarming Iran. What American priorities are Kushner and Witkoff advancing? It would be an understatement to say that Kushner is close to the Israeli government. On visits to the Kushner family, when Jared was growing up, Emperor Julian Yahoo, the apostate, literally stayed in his bedroom. That's creepy. Kushner is also close to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia, who overruled Saudi regulators to invest $2 billion of the Saudi sovereign wealth fund, in Kushner's investment fund in Affinity. Did you know that? So the Saudi Arabian Council went, no, we're not investing in Affinity. Mohammed bin Salman went, I overrule you. $2 billion. Somebody's saying that is the Trump family lining their pockets with the war in Iran and with Kushner with what he's doing? Sure as hell looks like it to me. 2 weeks into Trump's war, the New York Times alleged that Kushner has continued to raise money for his firm in the Middle East while working as an envoy. Witkoff's family joined Trump's to found World Liberty Financial. This is worse than what the Clintons did with the Clinton Global Initiative. These people are crooked. I implore you, MAGA cons, you have got to look at this. Now, look. They will back off and stop if you tell them to. Just like they stopped with the IVS nonsense because we demanded it. Witkoff's family joined Trump's to found World Liberty Financial, a crypto company Last year, the United Arab Emirates put $2 billion into the firm. How much is that? $2 billion. $2 billion into the firm. And shortly thereafter received clearance to import hundreds of thousands of state-of-the-art NVIDIA chips, despite the country's ties to China. By law, Senate and House leaders must be informed of impending military operations. They would have been curious to know that the United States had volunteered its military to take on the regional rival of Israel, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates on the say-so of two irregular diplomats with interest in those countries. You cannot blame Emperor Julian Yahoo for taking advantage. Probably never again would his country get to deal with a president so gullible. But as soon as the attacks began on Iran, the news brought talk of tactical divergences between Israel and the United States. Israel wanted Iran wrecked and weak, and look, my buddy has been telling me this. One of my sources has been telling me this for a whole year. He's been telling me, Mike, they're going to take out Iran. I'm like, no, come on, dude. He goes, I'm telling you, they're setting all this up and they're going to do it. I'm like, Trump promised. He goes, don't believe it. It's going to happen. Well, he was right. Israel wanted Iran wrecked and weak and was hitting oil infrastructure that the United States had warned it not to. The United States wanted the oil industry up and running. First to lay claim to the oil for Trump, as happened in Venezuela, later to prevent the tit-for-tat strikes on Middle Eastern oil that could cause a global depression. In fact, the only divergence between Israel and the United States when it comes to war aims is that Israel has them and the United States does not. That, of course, could be problem enough. For Europeans now marching against the war, Israel's invasion of Lebanon is evidence the United States is abetting an escalation of Israel's unpopular Gaza war. It's not a Gaza war, it's a genocide. We're going to call it a genocide until The Hague recognizes it or the UN. For a growing part of Trump's own base, while Iran remains the bigger threat to America's global position, Israel is the bigger threat to America's democracy. I see this completely. This is a takeover. This is a foreign entity that has invaded the American body politic. And by the way, Trump did not campaign on making an ally, a military permanent ally, and co-governing partner of Israel. Yeah, but that's just the price we had to pay to stop the nukes in Iran. They didn't have any nukes. You know, if they didn't have any nukes now, they sure as hell are going to get them now. I would. Wouldn't you? How are they going to get one? India, Pakistan, Iran, Russia, China, North Korea. Name the person you want to buy it from. No, James Bond will come along and stop it. You really think we're that star-spangled awesome? I'm sure we have some special ops guys that are crack agents that are good people, and I'm sure most of the men in our military and the women, they're just obeying orders. They're doing what they're told to do. These spy novel like scenarios, do they really exist? Is it really impossible to move a nuke from some silo in Russia to Iran? It's not that far. From some silo in India, because they have them, to Iran. Here's an even closer one. From some silo in Pakistan. The Pakis have nukes. To Iran. Caldwell. For Europeans, for a growing part of Trump's own base, while Iran remains the bigger threat to America's global position, Israel is a bigger threat to America's democracy. As the war entered its third week, Joe Kent, head of Trump's National Counterterrorism Center, and a top 8 National Intelligence Director, Tulsi Gabbard, resigned in protest, alleging it is clear that the war we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. Again, Trump has a gift for escaping seemingly impossible situation of his own making. It's easy to underestimate him. His flaws, his ignorance, his incuriosity are in plain sight. He really does seem to have gone to war thinking his abduction of the president of Venezuela augured a similar success in Iran. His strengths, by contrast, are often hidden. As John Judice writes in a profound recent essay on Trump and Hegel, Trump is somehow a world historical catalyst. He may already be, incredible though it sounds, one of the half-dozen most important Americans who ever lived. That will not keep his movement alive. Trumpism is about democracy or it's about nothing. For Trump's base, the sense of betrayal is acute. Now, I'm going to just push back on Colbert. I don't think it is yet. 85, 90% of MAGA going, yeah. Longer this goes on, the worse it's going to get. Played Joe Kent last night at Catholics for Some Catholics. What number is that? 14. So Kent shows up last night, and okay, that's fine. I want people to hear what okay, so the aforementioned Joe Kent, who Lindsey Graham says is a liar. Well, how did he get security clearance? The Senate would have, well, he's not a cabinet level. To get a security level clearance that high, you have to have some creds. He's second under Tulsi Gabbard. They don't just give those security clearances away. You have to earn them. Okay, so just run it. He's a liar, and everything he's now saying is because he hates Jews. You know, this Jew hatred thing, you're worse than the left with racist, bigot, sexist, homophobe now. It's all anti-Jew, it's all anti-Semitic. We hate Jews. We do not. Stop accusing me of these things. Stop accusing other good people of these things. Joe Kent.
This decision to follow your conscience, give us a little backstory. How did that happen?
Without getting too much into detail, I just did a long-form podcast with Tucker, kind of laid out the entire politics of the issue. But look, after serving 20 years, mostly deployed to the Middle East, fighting the wars over there, and just seeing how our country had been lied to and brought down the wrong path in those wars, and that we were getting sucked into another one, and that the American people didn't have the full story, and our country did not have a vital national interest in this current fight. I said, hey, I in good conscience can't do this, because that was a promise I made to myself probably 20 plus years ago when I was deployed to Iraq. Once I realized after my first couple deployments that we weren't there for the reasons that our government told us we were there for, I said, if it's ever my turn, if I'm ever an adult in this situation, I ever have a position of responsibility, I will not in good conscience send young men and women off to die on foreign battlefields.
So we're Catholics here, and I believe you're a baptized Catholic. We saw just on Sunday, and this is so great to see, because people are like, why a Catholic champion or why here? The Holy Father, the Vicar of Christ on earth, has been so strong and outspoken in recent comments talking about what Catholics should be worried about, the innocent people that are being hurt through all this. He mentioned the Catholic priest that was killed, Father Pierre, by an attack in Lebanon. Does it help you to have either members of your faith community or religious leaders speaking up on your behalf? Like, what's it been like to have that support from outside?
It's been huge. I quite frankly didn't think when I submitted my resignation it would get the traction or the attention that you talked about. But having this support from friends, family, but really I've been asked a couple times, was it a hard decision to make? And it's definitely a decision I didn't make lightly. I put a lot of thought into it, and I had been thinking about it for quite some time. But having faith, I think I was able to hear God's voice. I was able to hear that I was exactly where I was supposed to be, and it was my time to actually take action, which made taking the action incredibly easy, actually, and actually made me feel very liberated and like I'm in the right spot. So.
Now, let it play, because I want you to hear some wisdom here. What he's going to say next is
hope for America, and
is
if
good.
You do, why so?
I have a great deal of hope for America. I think this is a very exciting
So do
moment.
I.
I think the fact that we're seeing people who speak out on behalf of their faith or who are willing to speak truth to power, and the fact that the people who support them are able to actually have a voice because of the technology, which obviously can be used for a lot of bad. But in the case of connecting like-minded people and getting our word out, that technology is a very powerful weapon in our hand. And also the young people in this country, the young men and the young women, plenty here in this room. I was kind of overwhelmed when I got here tonight, especially by the young folks that came up and wanted to shake my hand. And so I have a lot of hope for the next generation. I think as we head into this midterm season and just as this war advances in the next couple of weeks, I think, like you said in your open, the most important thing we can do is be on our knees and pray. But once we're up from our knees, we need to take action. Our leaders will hear us if we all speak out. We're at a critical juncture in the war in Iran. We need to let our leaders hear that we do not support this war. We do not think there's a vital national security interest. We want to bring our troops home. We want to work towards peace in that region. We do not want 20 plus more years of bloodletting. And then as we head into this next election cycle, demand from everyone, from every political party, go to them, go to your representatives and say, I will not vote for you if you are going to vote for the continuation of these wars overseas. And by no means, I don't expect anybody here to be some kind of a pacifist. If our country is attacked, we will attack. If there's an imminent attack,
we're at the end of the segment. I agree. You have to voice. But if Trumpism is not going to slay the deep state, well, then we got to find another way.
It's not tape or a Post-it or a candy bar, but this new 3M
is the freshest spin on true crime shows since dinosaurs were solving cold cases with fossil evidence. Yeah. It's that original, folks.
Mom's Murders and Mysteries. New episodes debut every Tuesday night, 6:30 East, 4 West, exclusively on the Crusade channel. Live talk podcast radio, the way it should be.
Hi, folks. It's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Road to Independence, the movie. The Road to Independence tells the exciting story of the Founding Fathers' struggle to declare independence.
Jefferson lays out the reasons to declare independence beyond the storybook, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
That the question was not whether, by a declaration of independence, we should make ourselves what we are not, but whether we should declare a fact which already exists. That as to the people or Parliament of England, we had always been in.
This animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and are packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Road to Independence on DVD and CD. Available now at mikechurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723.
You're listening to the Crusade Channel, a Black Hat Studios media property. Broadcasting live 24/7 from Madisonville, Louisiana, and to the world via CrusadeChannel.com. Crusade Channel News. News you can trust.
Because let's face it, the truth just sounds different. Like a symphony of facts.
And now, from the Crusade Channel News Desk, here's Magdalene Rose.
Hello, Red, White, and Dude Nation. Welcome to Friday, March 20th, 2026. I'm Magdalene Rose at the Mike Church Show News Desk. This report is brought to you by the all-new Mike Church Show website and Dude Nation membership service. Check it out today at the all-new MikeChurch.com. Here's what to listen to for this hour. House Republicans blanched at the Pentagon's reported $200 billion price tag for Iran, but many are embracing the eye-popping number to help energize a stalled reconciliation process. GOP leaders have struggled to build consensus around a Reconciliation 2.0 package, but injecting a must-pass defense spending bill into the equation will give Speaker Mike Johnson the urgency he needs to bring it to the floor. Former FBI Director James Comey has been subpoenaed in the wide-ranging grand conspiracy case against the ex-officials who investigated and prosecuted President Trump. Two sources with knowledge of the situation told Axios. The investigation has produced more than 130 subpoenas since cranking up last year. the sources say, and targets top officials who worked under former Presidents Obama and Biden. 2 former FBI agents who helped investigate President Trump's efforts to allegedly overturn the 2020 presidential election results sued the federal government on Thursday, alleging they were wrongfully terminated simply because they worked on the probe. The lawsuit filed against FBI Director Kash Patel, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and their respective agencies is the latest in a growing number of cases being filed by former agents who allege they were fired for political reasons without due process. The lawsuit does not name the 2 former agents, each of whom worked on the 2020 election case that was known internally in the FBI as Arctic Frost. They are referred to as John Doe 1 and John Doe 2 in the suit. The former agents are asking the court to find that their First and Fifth Amendments were violated and to reinstate them to their previous jobs. The firings took place in the fall of 2025, not long after the unredacted internal documents from the investigation were released publicly to Congress. FBI Director Kash Patel summarily fired each plaintiff. No internal investigation notice preceded their firings, nor were plaintiffs presented with any evidence purportedly supporting their firings or giving an opportunity to appeal, the former agents allege in this lawsuit, which was filed in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. A spokesperson for the Justice Department declined to comment. The Trump administration announced a plan to transfer operational responsibility for federal student loan debt from the Department of Education to the Treasury Department, starting with about $180 billion in defaulted loans. Our quote of the day, "We become what we love, and who we love shapes what we become," St. Clair of Assisi.
This is a pixel.
I'm Groot.
Now, if you put a couple of million of these guys together, you can make a sentence on an LED screen. Put a couple of billion of them together, and you can make a whole page. Put 360 billion of them, and you got Chesterton's book, Orthodoxy. But it doesn't smell like a book, and it burns teeny little holes in your cornea. So is the pixel really your friend?
I'm Groot.
No, but the Founders Trading Post is your friend, and we have actual books with actual smelly pages. Plus, our little bookstore has everything you'd expect.
I'm Groot.
Yes, Groot, to the gourmet coffee, but no to the One Tree Hill sappy guitar music.
Pick up a copy of G.K. Chesterton's Orthodoxy, plus many other Chesterton titles at shop.mikechurch.com.
Looking at lifestyle and cultural headlines, our saint of the day is Saint Joseph. You can learn all about him in the Saint of the Day podcast at crusadechannel.com/saint. Overnight blasts have been heard in Jerusalem and the Iranian capital Tehran as Iran marks Nowruz, the Persian New Year. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will hold off attacks on Iranian gas fields after being asked to by President Donald Trump. The United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Bahrain all reported missile or drone attacks. A drone attack at a Kuwait oil refinery has caused a fire, according to state media. Qatar's energy minister says its liquefied natural gas export capacity will be reduced by 17% over the next 5 years as a result of an Iranian attack on the Ras Laffan facility. I wish everything could be wiped from our memories like we just woke up from a bad dream. As Persian New Year approaches, Iranians describe their fears to the BBC. Just under 100 ships have passed through the Strait of Hormuz since the start of March, according to data analysis by the BBC Verify, despite periodic attacks on shipping in the area by Iranian forces. While some energy and everyday goods are still moving through one of the world's busiest shipping lanes, daily traffic is down about 95% since the war began on February 28th. The data provided by shipping analysis Kelper shows 99 vessels passing the narrow strait so far this month, an average of just 5 to 6 vessels a day. Our analysis indicates that about a third of these recent crossings were made by ships with connections to Iran, said the analysis. Comparatively, about 138 ships passed through the strait every day before the war, according to the Joint Maritime Information Center. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the country will heed Trump's call not to repeat attacks on key Iranian energy sites like the South Pars field. U.S. Ambassador to the UN Mike Waltz and a panel of experts will answer questions from CNN's Dana Bash and a live studio audience about what might come next in the war at 9 p.m. Eastern, after public outcry demanding an explanation. I'm Magdalene Rose for the Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation, because ethics in broadcasting matters.
When most people hear the word coffee, they conjure up visions of a ceramic mug in the palm of both hands and a woman slowly sipping. This isn't a Folgers commercial. It's for Capuchin Holy Roast, and here's how I take mine. With a dash of vanilla, a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of honey, and lots of heavy cream. Add some ice, shake, and then enjoy, while knowing that's $6 the libs at Starbucks can't spend to ruin my life and yours.
Cappuccino Holy Roast in whole bean or grind is available at shop.mychurch.com.
Listen, were you forced into getting a solar contract and now you just don't want it anymore? Maybe the solar company misled you. Or is your solar contract buried with hidden fees? Are you not saving the amount of money you thought you would on your energy costs? Don't worry. At the Solar Exit Hotline, we can help you cancel your solar contract, even if the panels are already installed. Our experienced legal team will review your contract and help you cancel it, possibly saving you thousands of dollars. You got to call right now for complete details. So listen, if you're not happy with your solar contract for any reason, we are here to help you cancel it. Call the Solar Exit Hotline now for immediate options to help you exit your solar contract. This call is 100% free.
800-932-1789. 800-932-1789. 800-932-1789. That's 800-932-1789.
For the last time, I'm pretty sure what's killing the crops is this Brondo stuff.
The Brondo's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops?
Yes.
Water? Like out the toilet?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be out of the toilet, but yeah, that's the idea.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Okay, look, the plants aren't growing, so I'm pretty sure that the Brondo's not working. Now, I'm no botanist, but I do know that if you put water on plants, they grow.
Well, I've never seen no plants grow out of no toilet.
Hey, that's good. You sure you ain't the smartest guy in the world?
Yeah.
Okay, look, you want to solve this problem. I want to get my pardon, so why don't we just try it, okay? And not worry about what plants crave.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
Yeah, it's got electrolytes.
What are electrolytes? Do you even know?
It's what they use to make Brondo.
Yeah, but why?
Well, we had some kind of a glitch. Some kind of a glitch, and we'll get fixed during the next time out here. Meanwhile, it's a free phone Friday, and you know what that means.
Oh, and remember, Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day. So, you know, if you want to, go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt and jeans.
It's free phone.
Yes, it is a free phone Friday. You are charged with the task of telling us what it is we shall talk about on the program. Mike Church Show is on. I invite all of you to the brand new, all new MikeChurch.com. It is cool. You can watch the show so easily now. If you're logged in as a gold, platinum, or rhodium member, it's right there on the home screen. You don't have to go anywhere. So check it out today, and the podcast site is amazing as well. The 4-part series, Mike Church presents the history and heresy, the real history and heresy of Christian Zionism, is now playing at podcast.mikechurch.com, plus your transcripts for the program every day of the week, and your podcast displayed easier with all kind of controls that you never had before, and the memory function and the favoriting function, and you build in your own playlist based on 10 years. There's 11 seasons of the Mike Church Show at podcast.mikechurch.com. Now, they're not all up yet. Many of them have to be discovered because they're scattered all over hard drives over the last 10 years. But we do have over 3,000 files already there and about 1,200 episodes. So there's plenty to listen to at podcast.mikechurch.com. And of course, you want to watch the show crystal clear, HD, and beautiful full stereo. You can do so, mikechurch.com. On the homepage. No /. It's right there on the homepage. Its own separate window. Drag it around, resize it, put it as big or as small as you want, and it'll play right there on your screen. So check it out today, mikechurch.com, in case you don't know. Okay, we played the Joe Kent clip. A lot of people are talking about the digital media file number 3. Oh, no, play number 1. And I'm going to get to the end and the conclusion of Is Trumpism Dead? Just cue number 1 up here. Because Christopher Caldwell says that it is. Damon Linker, another writer, according to Dreher, says, no, it's not. The support may be conditional and fragile, could crumble if the president decides to send ground troops into the fight, and or when price surges and energy shortages hit the American economy in full force. But for now, there's no evidence at all that we have arrived at the end of Trumpism. And as I said earlier, I agree with Linker, because there's nothing to replace it. It is still with him, not just because they've come to love and revere him as a leader of their party and movement, but also because the overwhelming majority of Republican voters despise Iran and have no objection at all of using America's military might to hit the country hard. You know, the Soviet Union was filled with atheist, Christian slain, the most horrible assortment of humanity ever. And I'm not talking about the Soviet people, the people of Russia. I'm talking about and the Kremlin and the Politburo, those kind of people. These people were actually guilty. You know, Stalin committed acknowledgeable, demonstrable, extant, there's proof, extant proof of war crimes. The slaying of the 5,000 or 4,000 Polish officers at Katyn. These things all happened. We never struck them. We never said that Russia can't have nukes and they are a nuclear threat, so we have to oppose them. The American people had a visceral kind of hatred for the Soviets. What did the Iranians? Now, the Iranians did invade the embassy. They didn't capture our people, and that was probably a stupid move on their part. But other than that, outside of that, you know, you have to go back to when Emperor Julian Yahoo, the apostate, began his fake crusade against Iran. You have to go all the way back to 1983 to when this Iran can't have a nuke. They're evil enemy. They're the evil enemies. You know what the United States did to the people of Iran in the Iraq-Iran war in the 1980s? Do you know what we did? You do know that Saddam Hussein was a CIA asset. You do know that it was the United States that egged on the Iraqis to go and to attack and assault the Iranians in the Iraq-Iranian war. Iraq did have plenty of weapons to use because we gave them to them. You know what else we gave to Saddam? If you want to know really the real history of it, we gave Saddam Hussein chemical weapons. He used them against Persians. He fired them at Iranians. He killed thousands with chemical weapons. Did you know that? The Iranians, or the Iraqis, tried to march into Iran. This is before there were air superiority wars. What happened? The Persians pushed them back. The Iraqis were going to lose, and so Saddam ordered the forces to retreat. Failed attempt, American attempt number one. Now, I don't know if it was revenge for the kidnappings at the embassy and the taking of the hostages for 444 days, or what it was for. But whatever the reason the Iranians did it, when the Iraqis invaded, the Persian army and the Persians repelled them. They did not gain ground, or didn't gain enough, and they were sent. And again, we put Saddam up to it. Most people don't know that. So in this instance here, you've already had a failed ground effort. You're not going to take out the Persian Empire. Now, this hatred of Iranians, I want to know why we don't hate Mexicans like that. They're the ones that invade the border. Do you want to hate on people for committing crimes against the United States? Start with the Mexicans, for heaven's sake. They're an actual physical threat. They could get in vehicles and drive here. American Republicans are so stupid. So stupid. We should always be on guard and hate Indians. You should always hate Persians. Do you have a Persian rug in your home? Digital media file number 1.
Blame them. Thank you, Mr. President. Have you talked to Prime Minister Netanyahu about attacking the oil and gas fields?
Yeah, I did. I told him don't do that, and he won't do that. We didn't discuss. You know, we do. We're independent. We get along great. It's coordinated, but on occasion he'll do something, and if I don't like it, and so we're not doing that anymore.
He defied you. He did it anyway. This is true. No, he defied him. He did it anyway. All right, now the one that everyone is talking about, number 3. Now, this is an entire, so this is all the context of Pearl Harbor. You didn't warn us about Pearl. You didn't warn me about Pearl Harbor. Don't lecture me, chap. You keep lecturing me and you, Nip. We're going to go at it, pan face.
We went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay? Right? You know, he's asking me, do you believe in surprise? I think much more so than us. And we had to surprise him, and we did. And because of that surprise, we knocked out, the first 2 days, we probably knocked out 50% of what we, and much more than we anticipated doing. So if I go and tell everybody about it, there's no longer a surprise, right? Okay, one more.
He wants to know why we didn't warn me about Pearl Harbor. He wants to know what's wrong with you, Nip. The funny thing is that afterward, the Japanese Prime Minister, Sanae Takachi. Hi, like Donald Trump. She actually... She actually says glowing things. Okay, so she gets out the car and,
Instead of bowing, she hugs him.
Instead of bowing, she runs over and jumps on him and hugs him. So it is true that Trump is a charismatic person. It is true that he is going to be the most charismatic and an influential person of the 21st century. I don't know. We don't know the future. Can someone in the future be more charismatic and accomplish more politically than Trump has accomplished? I don't know. But to say that he hasn't accomplished things is just, well, that's just not true. What we're asking here today is, well, what about the things we were supposed to accomplish here domestically? And again, it ought to bother you. You know, that George Carlin clip I play about, well, we like war. We're a warlike people. You know, we had to go back and retroactively start blaming the Iranians for IEDs. My understanding of, now this is based on my being a radio host in 2003 to 2007 when I covered the Iraq War and I was a cheerleader for it. My understanding of it was, what was the guy's name in Iraq? They go to Muqtada al-Sadr. My understanding was that in Fallujah, you know, Joe Beeman could speak more about this than I could because he was there. My understanding was that the Iraqis were building their own IEDs and that it was this was guerrilla warfare. This was the tactic that they used to try and stop American forces from going into cities like Fallujah and others. Remember, the Iraq War was lost. And Joe Bush decided, now we got to have, no, I'm a cowboy from Texas, we're going to have a troop. Remember the surge? Yep. Hell, I wrote a song about it. It's called Libs on the Run, which is still a great song. I don't believe it any longer, but at the time I did. We had to have 60,000 more troops were sent to Iraq during the surge. So we could have a functioning Jeffersonian democracy there. Iraq is an absolute disaster today. It's a train wreck. It's filled with anti-American agitating hatred. Gee, I wonder how that happened. Somebody invaded Kansas and killed 250,000 of Kansas's favorite sons and daughters. You'd hate them too. Well, my question to all the MAGA-cons is, well, can you actually point to the thing? You probably weren't even alive when the hostages were taken. And by the way, they were returned. When the hostages were taken in 1978, or 78, I think, and from the embassy or parts thereof in Iran. And if you were alive, you do remember that Reagan brought them all home. So all of this hatred has been sown over the past 3 decades. You have been psyoped and brainwashed for this very moment. So that you go, yeah, the Iranians are getting what they did. Change Iranians to Persians and tell me that the Persians are getting what they deserve. Yeah, well, their government, and they had an Ayatollah and this and that and the other. They're like, well, you know what? There are leaders all around the world that you probably don't approve of. There's another part of what Dreher was writing in his long piece here. He included Linker and Caldwell. Incredibly, it doesn't seem that Trump and his team seriously thought that the Iranians would hit the Gulf oil states or close the Strait of Hormuz if we attacked. In fact, a week ago, the Wall Street Journal reported that the Pentagon warned Trump ahead of time that if the U.S. attacked, Iran would close the Strait of Hormuz. Here's an excerpt from the Journal. Trump acknowledged the risk, these people said, but moved forward with the most consequential foreign policy decision of his 2 presidencies. He told his team that Tehran would likely capitulate before closing the strait. And even if Iran tried, the U.S. military could handle it. Are you kidding? And by the way, am I the only one that seems to remember 2 Saturdays ago, coming up on 3 Saturdays now? And I said in a 6-minute and 38-second long address, and I said to the people of Iran, you may never get this opportunity. Take a hold of your government. Take your government back. Want to make yourself a democracy? Take your government. This is a joke now. 3 weeks in, you killed every potential Iranian Shia leader that you can. They haven't taken over a DMV. They haven't possessed a bodega. What does this mean? This means that the intelligence that was provided was faked. It was terrible. The intelligence that was provided that said all those people in the street were protesting for democracy. They wanted lesbians and abortions and elections and purple fingers. Remember the Iraqis wanted the purple finger that they had the ID? That was back when Democrats supported voter ID. Remember that? To vote in an Iraqi election, you had to stamp your finger purple so you couldn't vote twice. It's all so ridiculous. What else do we have to talk about here today on this show? Because I think we've covered this. To those of you that are MAGA cons, I just say, consider the future. If there was any chance to dismantle, and by the way, when you have wars like this, the size of the government is going to grow. That's just a fact. You're going to need more boots. You're going to need more people making this strategy and planning that strategy. You're going to grow the deep state. They're going to say that we're going to be spied on now. We got to be looking out for sleeper cells. I'm telling you, it's coming. We're going to hear that. Oh, the NSA needs to hire an additional 40,000 agents. The government is going to expand when you go to war. That's just a fact. You're not dismantling the deep state. You're making it bigger. Yay, Iran. Yay, bomb Iran. Yay, we're going to get our allies to help us in the Strait of Hormuz. Yay. You know what? I'll take the little band from the radio station that could, that has been fighting against this for 18 years over that. You know, it really is. There's some of the people that I've talked to since this all began, I just can't believe it. I can't talk them out of it. Talk them out of, you can't talk them out of nothing. I can't talk them out of nothing. Try as we might, folks, and we do try. Okay. What else do we have on the cut sheet? Already played that one. Did Tucker Carlson really get axed if he was a Jew hater on that stage? I think that he did.
It was a sit-down interview.
No, okay, so the other one that I was seeing wasn't a sit-down interview. That was something else entirely.
This was a sit-down interview.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're not going to have time to play it. We can play it next segment here. What else do we have in the old pile? We did the Bishop of the Pentagon is deploying 2nd Marine Expeditionary Unit to the Middle East. You're in the reserves. There's a very good chance that you're going to be called up very soon, so get ready, would be my message to you. There's a lot of other stuff to talk about. We'll do it when we come back here, folks. Quick timeout, final segment of the week coming up next here. Don't touch that proverbial dial.
You want your talk radio shaken.
You expect me to talk?
Not stirred.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Truth never dies on the Veritas Radio Networks. Crusade.
Hello, Red, White, and Dude Nation. I'm Magdalene Rose at the Mike Church Show News Desk with your crucials for Friday, March 20th, 2026. This report is brought to you by the all-new Mike Church Show website and Dude Nation membership service. Check it out today at theallnewmikechurch.com. Here's your in-the-market report. U.S. stocks suffered major losses on Thursday, March 19th, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropping about 4%, marking its worst day since 2020. This sharp decline was driven by geopolitical tensions in the Middle East and concerns over tariffs, prompting a widespread sell-off across major indexes. The S&P 500 decreased 4.8%. The Nasdaq Composite dropped almost 6%. The slump wiped out roughly $2 trillion in value. Markets in Asia and Europe also fell, with the Stoxx 600 in London dropping more than 2% by mid-morning. The market reacted strongly to a sweep of unannounced tariffs, increasing investor anxiety. Ongoing conflicts in the Middle East, particularly concerns surrounding Iran, continued to fuel volatility in oil markets. The combination of rising energy costs and potential supply chain disruptions from the conflict pushed stocks down for the third consecutive week. In National Calendar Day news, today is National Storytelling Day. Our quote of the day, "We become what we love, and who we love shapes what we become," St. Clair of Assisi. You're listening to The Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation.
Hi, folks. It's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Spirit of 76. The Spirit of 76 details the true story of the writing and ratifying of the U.S. Constitution.
And here I would make this inquiry of those worthy characters who composed a part of the late Federal Convention. Sir, give me leave to demand, what right have they to say, "We the people"? Who authorized them?
This animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and is packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Spirit of 76 on a 2 DVD or 3 CD set. Available now at mikechurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. That's 800-313-7757.
Everybody loves a good trilogy. The Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and now the KingDude Seasoning Trilogy. There's Beast and Butt Rub, Acadiana Steak, and the brand new Chicken Mamu Seasoning, a lemon herb-based rub that's won trophies in barbecue chicken cook-offs. Now, we've bundled all 3 spices together, and you can get them for one low price for less than it costs to rent a movie trilogy. And the KingDude offers you his personal money-back guaranteed of your taste buds' complete satisfaction. Order a KingDude Seasoning Trilogy today at shop.mikechurch.com.
Hey, Mrs. McGillicuddy, don't be a satellite radio snob and pass by the Mike Church Show. Come on in and browse.
May I help you?
Oh, no thanks, sir. Just browsing.
How long do you intend to browse?
Well, that lady there. You didn't ask her how long she intends to browse. How come you're asking us how long we intend to browse?
You don't look like browsers.
Now that that's over,
How about a Fresca?
the Mike Church Show, entertaining browsers and fans since 1992 on the Veritas Radio Networks. Crusade.
2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. Music loud, women warm. I've been kicked around since I was born. I never tolerate, I don't care.
Welcome back, Staying Alive in Too Much Heaven. No jive talking spoken here. You got a MAGA broken heart? I can tell you how to mend it. We got to figure out in this day and age how to love somebody. You see all those titles just kind of flow. Final segment of the week. It's Mike Church Show here. The Dolphin of due diligence at your service. Call in line telephone number 844-527-8723, 844-5-Crusade. Email address, same as it ever has been. I am KingDude at protonmail.com and KingDude at MikeChurch.com. Folks, lots has gone on here this week, and lots has gone on in the last 3 weeks. For those of you that may just be picking the program up for today, I spent the first segment of the program detailing some of how we got here. Second segment of the program and detailing what the transgression has been and is. And then the last hour and a little bit of the last segment, we talked a little bit about Trumpism and isn't it going to fail and what is the future like and what is our role in it. So let me, just for a moment, address one of the final things. And I knew this was going to happen. You'd be stupid not to think that it was going to happen. So I knew this was going to happen. I didn't know who it was that was or who or whom it were to be that were going to do it, but I knew someone somewhere would jump on some media and would say something to the effect of, Nanya, Nanya, boo-boo, you idiot. Speaking to me, you idiot. We warned you. All of us sagacious wise men warned you not to side with Trump and that you were wrong, and you did this and that, and then you ran all of us off. Now you should get what you deserve, you worthless, lying jerk. Okay, fair shot. Take the shot. I'm sure many more are going to take the shot. If you're to be civil and have a conversation, I would say this to you. I acted in good faith, as I have always acted in good faith. I don't control what other people do. You're going to make mistakes. I reckon it too. I raised that boy the best that I could. I raised him as a regular Sunday mass attending, wonderful young man. He even served at the altar. I could not control how he turned bad. So for everyone that says you should have seen it coming, you can say that all you want. I could say that about some of your children that have abandoned you and some of the children that have turned on me or that we know of. I still believe that, look, he's still president, and he's going to be for either one more year or 3 more years. So I still believe then, sans an impeachment, I still then believe then, do we still have a chance to salvage things out of this presidency? I hope so. I have children. One is already married last year, and another one who's getting married very soon this year. Maybe there are grandbabies on the way. I want him to be successful. I want his administration to be successful. I want America to be successful. I want Louisiana to be successful. Now, of course, I'm speaking not in the Christian abstract of holy or holier. I'm speaking about the ability to feed yourself and to clothe yourself and to have a life without abject impoverishment, or to live under a truly menacing Germanic or Russian kind of deep state. So was this going to come? Of course it was going to come. I understand. I get it. Resist the urge to, most people can't resist the urge to nanny boo-boo. I would say to those people, though, that of all the people that are in broadcast media, that all of them, I violated no ethical code, and I'm still not violating an ethical code. When this happened, I told you what we thought about it. I told you what I thought about it. I spent an hour today going back through the history and saying, you think I don't have a broken heart over this? You think I'm not upset over it? You think I'm... So you can jeer and you can nanny and your boo-boo and say you deserve to whatever it is that you get. That will not change when the next crisis comes up and you turn that radio or that TV switch on and you turn to the Mike Church Show, because you know that in good faith, a good Catholic Christian man is going to give you the best darn analysis you're going to get of the situation. I can't control what other people do in the future. And I try not to make predictions either. As I've said many times, being in the prediction business is probably, if you're in the prediction business, you're going to go out of business. Unless you have a bunch of people that are stupid that follow you, like neocons. 1991, 1993, 1997, 2001, 2003, 2008, 2011, 2013, 2017, again in 2019, 2022, 2024, and again this all of 2025 and now 2026. All of Americans have been lied to about American foreign policy and about who our enemies are. And as I said, if you want to draw a line in the sand over an enemy, pick the Mexicans. They actually are your neighbors. They actually have killed Americans and might kill more. You have an ocean between you and all those other ones. So I fully expect that was going to, of course you know it was going to happen. But we violated no ethics. There is nothing unethical that we did. And we acted upon the information at the time. I have told you every time, and there have been literally dozens and dozens of instances, times, where we have vociferously opposed things that Trump has said or done or policies that they have promulgated. That's just part of the record. So it's not like we have sat over here and been yes men homers for all things MAGA, because that's just not true. During the first term, I said I'm probably a 51% Trump guy, right, Maggie? How many thousand times did I say that? I said during this one, maybe I'm a 60% Trump guy. Some days it's 90. This week, 8. So I don't think that anything has changed. And if you want to think that way, go ahead and think that way. There's nothing I can do about it. If I had a disagreement with a family member or something like this, we always should be working towards peace and towards reconciliation, and to try and understand. Okay, well, why did you do that? We could. Everyone's had these sorts of falling out. So to those that I ran off. Well, if you're in this business for 34 years, you're going to run people off. And so if I ran you off, okay, maybe you'll come back. If not, well, hang out with whoever it is that's lying to you today. And good luck with that. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Magdalene Rose, our political affairs contributor here on the Dude Maker hotline for our last conversation of the week. Quite an event in Mordor last night with the Catholics for Some Catholics. Joe Kent being there. There's a bunch of priests. Actually, I know some of the priests that showed up. I don't know him, but John Yep is one of those guys that was at least a member of the band in Lockout. I don't know if he still is, but I do appreciate that there was some Catholic action in Mordor.
Well, there was, and I think a lot of Catholics are looking for some type of recourse because it's very frustrating and there doesn't seem to be a lane for a lot of us right now. I'm glad that happened. That event was interesting because there was so much infighting about who was going to be there, and so many controversies, like Candace Owens is there, other people are there. Matt Walsh at the last minute didn't go, sent a video. So even amongst the Catholic, what I would say, like media elite in that circle, it still wasn't infighting free.
No, it's not going to be, because there are motivations here that aren't Catholic.
Yeah.
It's like I've always said, Magdalene.
Yeah.
The confession line doesn't, you don't get one confession for your professional life sins and another confession for the ones that you committed in your personal life. Our ethical conduct in business and in politics and in media is as important as our ethical and moral conduct and our personal affairs. A mortal sin is a mortal sin. A venial sin is a venial sin. And to pretend as though that, well, no, I did this in business and I shut these people and I did this, dude, it has never been, it'd be difficult because you can't go back into time because they didn't have video. So, well, we do have writing, and we do know that in the ages of faith and in old Christendom, a guy that was a carpenter, a master carpenter in a guild, in one part of a town in old Italy, did not compete with the guy who was the other master carpenter on the other side of town for business. They never saw themselves as competitors. They saw themselves as carpenters. There wasn't a competition. You say the same thing among bakers, candlestick makers, and what have you. That's why the guilds enforce this. And when Steve Cunningham asked me the other day about this, I explained this, and I explained about the guild state, and Steve agreed with me. So, yeah, you're going to still have these people that are, quite frankly, they're just grifters. And that's just the way it is.
Well, they are grifters. And, to me, the idea that Matt Walsh doesn't go, a lot of people don't
That's
realize
huge.
That's massive. And the Daily Wire infighting is interesting because Matt Walsh has been very much in the camp of don't attack Erica Kirk, don't attack widows without seeing real just cause. He feels like that's a really big problem. Candace Owens is, of course, the queen of doing that. And he recently had a podcast episode where he did a standalone monologue about why this is wrong. And then Ben Shapiro also did a monologue where he did disprove quite a few of Candace's claims about Erica, the more ridiculous ones. And I think it's interesting that at the Daily Wire, which arguably had the most competition with Turning Point, I think Kirk would admit that is the place where you have the most Erica Kirk supporters. So the Catholics at the Daily Wire are in many ways feeling ostracized and feuding with Candace Owens as she becomes this new queen of alternative media Catholics. I don't think that helps us, and I think that more people respect Matt Walsh than they do Candace Owens.
Well, I say alternative media Catholics need a king, and that's the Mike Church Show, not a queen.
Well, I would prefer that. I would much prefer that.
Let's talk about Matt Walsh not going. He was you said it yesterday. Maggie has been telling me all week long, and she said it on air, watch Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
Watch what Matt Walsh does. So he didn't completely just blow them off. Sending a video was sending a message. Little Ben has told me I'm acting too Catholic and stuff, and he doesn't like Catholics for some Catholics. And so I can't go. I am not allowed to be seen. Interestingly enough, and I don't know what day it was, I have a clip I want to play for everyone, Magdalene. I want you to hear it too. Play the Michael Knowles clip. I don't see it on the sheet. Where is it? It's the last one. I want everyone to hear this. Now, I have joked about Michael. I've also said, I like Michael Knowles. Who doesn't like Michael Knowles? He's like Raymond Arroyo. They seem like really, really nice, very, very handsome young Catholic men, right? Michael Knowles. Now, when I say where are our Catholic intellectuals, Michael Knowles needs to leave Ben. He needs to get the hell out of there, and he needs to do more of this. Can I just say, Magdalene, and to audience, I am very impressed by this, and it's a long lecture. I'm going to watch it this weekend. We're going to get some more clips from it. Here's what, 3.5 minutes? 2.5. 2.5 minutes. Watch.
In the 250th anniversary, it's kind of funny that we're talking about Catholicism because the men who founded the country are rolling over in their graves at the very thought of that, including despite my swarthy appearance, on my father's side, I am a WASP, and, they would have disowned me for it. But that doesn't really matter. The fact is that the government that they established is very closely, if not identical, it's very closely in accord with the ideal regime laid out by St. Thomas in the Summa Theologiae, and also in De Regno, in which he outlines the times in which a people can overthrow a tyrant. In certain circumstances, it's permissible. And he says the best regime is a regime that has a kingly aspect, a monarchical aspect, an aristocratic aspect, and a democratic aspect. In liberal modernity, we pretend that only democracy is legitimate. Kim Jong-un was just reelected with 99.93% of the vote 2 days ago. So we really believe even the North Koreans have to be Democrats now. But that isn't the real idea. And so obviously the real idea goes back to antiquity. Polybius explains it well, which is that good government is government that is for the common good. And bad government is government that is only for private interest. So you can have a good monarchy, a good aristocracy, a good democracy, and the bad versions are tyranny or oligarchy or mob rule. So what the framers established for us is what St. Thomas outlines, which is, despite Americans' Republican pretensions, the president is the most powerful king on earth and has been for a very long time. I think Professor Vermeule observed that, the American president is the last monarch of the ancien regime. And then, we have in the past had a more aristocratic element before the direct election of senators. We still do, though, to some degree, the Senate and the judiciary. And then, obviously, the House is like herding cats. So that's the democracy part. So, you see that reflected. And I don't really care how it got there as long as it did get there. But we can trace those intellectual histories as well. It's not that Madison and Jefferson and all of our founders and framers were reading Thomas Aquinas, but they were reading him 2 degrees removed.
Yeah. Exactly.
They were reading the men who read him at the very least.
That is just, okay, that is far out solid and right on, as they used to say. I have said this before. The framers got the idea for the Electoral College from the College of Cardinals. They even named it. They even gave it the name college. No, that's not what it. No, it didn't come from a Protestant idea. It's a Catholic idea. Shut up. I've actually read the ratification debates and stuff. Have you? But what I find most encouraging about that is that that's at the Heritage Foundation, which is moderately friendly to Catholics and Catholicism. That's the kind of public Catholicism I want to see more of.
Yeah. Well, I think Catholicism is in a weird place right now in the Republican Party because the only ambassadors of it are increasingly exiled. The ambassadors that are more notable, like at the center, are exiled from the White House. So I think we're at a weird place if we command a lot of power and we understand what's going on, but we are not allowed to wield it. And this idea also that J.D. Vance recently has been telling people that he may not run for president because he wants to focus on his family and he really wanted a 4th child and all of this. If J.D. Vance is out, then that's a Catholic not running for president. That opens the lane for Marco Rubio. I wonder if Rubio is more open to things like the Mike Church Show than Bannon and things because it's not affiliated with Epstein. It's not in that slimy category. We might need a Catholic president who's a little bit more, not neocon, but just like traditional and maybe even a little boring to be able to get some power again.
So I would say this, Matt can't talk to me. And look, I've joked a lot about Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh has actually grown as a talent. Let me just tell you, impressively so. Michael can't talk to me because if they do, Ben will fire them. They're done. So there's a fatwa against me, but I would love to talk to Matt or Michael. And I encourage Michael, as you get this to a second party, dude, keep doing more of what you just did. That is what Catholics need to hear. And they need to hear it from an intellectual, informed formation. You know, we have our at mikechurch.com now, and you should all be going there and making it your homepage. And there's a lot more coming, folks. At mikechurch.com, you know, we have our statement of principles, our 7 principles. We all agree. Principle 3, formation. Formation is important, and you can hear it in someone when they have formation. When I say formation, especially they know the roots and the teachings of the Catholic faith. That's the formation that I'm speaking of. You're going to get people that are going to be very interested in Catholicism when they hear people like me talking about it in an embellished way. But you are also going to be edified in the same manner when you hear someone like Michael talking about it in an intellectual way. So I very much appreciate that. And I just want him to know that. So I hope somebody will tell him.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, the idea that anybody can talk to the Mike Church Show who's in Catholic media is so ridiculous. But that is what we deal with. And I think a lot of this is also because Ben Shapiro was one of the few people to realize that you could monetarily benefit from building out massive Catholic media, who then did it. Like, a lot of people have realized it, but they don't move forward with it. Ben Shapiro did. And so he cornered that audience very successfully. One thing that has come from Candace Owens feuding with literally everybody is that Catholics have broken away from the Daily Wire and are now watching the Candace Owens show. So if we could just get them from the Candace Owens show to the Mike Church show, I think that would be a lot better overall for the country.
Quite frankly, and this is just me speaking, and this is just candid, and I'm not trying to be mean, there is no comparison. There's no comparison. Now, I suppose that Candace does what she does, and again, I'll talk to Candace, and she has that show. That's not a seasoned and flavored 34-year vehicle coming up on 35 for the daily dissemination of news in an old school talk radio format. It is what it is. And again, I'll talk to Candace. I'd love to talk to Candace. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but that's fine. And she has that audience. For the other ones, the younger ones, and I think this is what's going to happen, Magdalene. And I predicted this, and so this is what's going to happen. The ones that were in it for the dopamine and the rush and the high of the clicks and likes and the easy money that they were going to make for all the followers that they have on YouTube and the revenue sharing and all of that, when it all starts to not pan out and it becomes difficult, then you're going to see many of them are just going to quit. So I don't know if the audience knows, but Mike Parrott's old show, The Rundown, has quit. So, and again, I'm not faulting anyone. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm simply observing here that this, I can mention some names of people that thought that they could do this on a daily, regular basis for hours a day. And then when they realized how hard it was, dude, they didn't make it another 2 months and they quit. Now, they made all manner of excuses up, and some of them tried to blame me. I'm like, dude, I told you how hard this how difficult this is. You're going to see a lot of people in the Catholic media space, is my point, Magdalene. Show's over. We're in overtime. Crusade.com/donate. Can somebody kick something into the tip jar for the day? So I think you're going to see many of these, some of these people that are podcasters, unless they're doing it like weekly, totally as a hobby, they're just going to quit. It's already started to happen.
What she has, because she does have the stamina for this.
I'm sorry. Can you start over?
Sorry, it was my fault.
Yeah, I think that's why, like you said, people quit. That's why Candace Owens has built what she's built, because she has the stamina for it. I think Jeremy Boring, one of the founders of the Daily Wire, he said she has the stamina, she has the charisma. My problem with this is that stage at the Catholics event, although filled with some of them very good people, none of those people on that stage, in my view, except for maybe some of the priests, seem to have a lot of access to the president. Like, there doesn't seem to be a pipeline to the president in the same way as if you go to an evangelical party or organization. So these people that are being held up as the people most, I think, as ambassadors for Catholics in America, do any of them have an ability to even call Trump at this point? Meanwhile, you go to evangelical organizations or parties, and they can all do that.
Maggie, see if you can find this. Father Leonard Feeney letter to Dwight Eisenhower. Why do I bring that up? And everyone, full disclosure. Well, so you're a Feeneyite. Yes, I am. Why aren't you? I love Father Feeney. I love the St. Benedict Center. In 1958, in the year of our Lord and Savior, Anno Domini, 1958, it might have been more than one, but I've read at least one. Father Leonard Feeney, founder of the Slaves to the Immaculate Heart and a recruiter of our beloved brother Francis Malou for Philosophia Perennis teacher, and ultimately generation once removed recruiter of Brother Andre Marie and Sister Maria Filomena and all our brothers and sisters at the St. Benedict Center. In 1900, I want to say it was 58, 1958 or so, around there. Let's just say the late 50s for the correctors. Father Feeney did what Catholic priests should be doing to Trump and should have done to Carter and Nixon and Reagan and Bush and Clinton and Bush and Obama. Father Feeney wrote a letter, and he wrote it, typed it out, it was typewritten. And in the letter, and I'm paraphrasing, in the letter, Father Leonard Feeney said, President Eisenhower, with all due respect, you've done this and you've done that and you're the president and all that. And I think the Father Feeney was reacting to something he heard Ike say. And he goes, but let me just inform you, out of a sense of Catholic charity or Christian charity, that if you don't convert to the Catholic faith and become a Catholic, none of that's going to matter, and you can't save your soul. And it wasn't like mean, it was just very matter of fact. And they probably published it from the housetops or from the rooftops, Maggie, if you can't find it. In any event, that is the kind of thing, and as I said, it wasn't like he was nanya boo-booing. He was like, I have a genuine concern for the destination of your eternal soul, Mr. President, and I exhort you to convert to the faith. Who thinks of writing a letter to your member of the House of Representatives, your state senator, saying, hey, you represent me here, and, out of Christian charity, I just want you to know that you need to convert to the faith. You don't know what happens in someone's mind once you've planted that bug or that seed. You don't know, because first of all, some are going to get angry, and they're going to deny, and they're just going to be angry about it, but they're going to be thinking about it. That is the kind of sensus catholicus that Steve Cunningham and I talked about the other day. At Catholic media, and I say this all the time, for people to go like, nah, boo-boo, you got Trump wrong, and you ran all your audience away, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I didn't do anything unethical. I spoke what I believed to be the truth at the time, and it was demonstrably the truth. And I never, ever shied away from saying that, I pray for President Trump's conversion to the faith every day. Do you? So at the end of the day, that really is all that we can do. And I think that, Catholics in media have not done Catholicism any favors. These internecine, stupid, ridiculous infighting wars of these ridiculous, just maniacally crazy trads have caused so much damage. And many people, including Protestants that I know, that were close to converting, going like, I don't want to become one of them. That's what has to stop.
Well, I think that's a very good point. That is what's occurred. And when you say that to these people, they don't want to hear you. They don't want to accept that could be true. But that is what's happened. And it's very, very frustrating because these people sit up there with their, feeling that they are the leaders of Catholicism. And then you ask them, hey, what are you doing to deal with the pro-abortion ballot issues that are up all over the country?
Right.
Cricket. Nothing is said. Except Lila Rose. She is a Catholic who champions that. But the rest of them, they say nothing. What are you trying to do to help secure Christian schools and Catholic elementary schools that are increasingly targeted in school shootings? Nothing. They're doing nothing. So I get frustrated when I see that lineup of people, excluding the priests, and they're raised up as heroes of Catholicism because I just don't see that in the daily life. There are certainly people in podcasting who do good things. But do they dedicate a little corner of their show to pro-abortion mandate or things that are on the ballot in Ohio? Do they mention those things? I just don't see that.
And it's an ongoing problem. All you can do is encourage and pray for it to change. And as I said, the numbers are going to get smaller. You reach peak podcast, folks. The numbers are going to get smaller. Something very interesting happened, Magdalene. We can talk about this obliquely, quickly. FCC approves Nexstar Tegna deal amid legal challenges from 8 states. Brendan Carr, in approving the transaction, said this, quote, by approving this transaction, which allows Nexstar to own less than 15% of television stations, the FCC acts mindful of the media marketplace that exists today, not the one from decades past. And the agency ensures that these broadcasters have the resources to continue investing in their local news operations. And that he said that Nexstar had committed to, quote, certain concrete conditions as part of the transaction, including, quote, divesting a number of stations, increasing localism, and affordability steps. For years, the FCC stood idly by while trusted sources of local news and information went out of business. Today, the FCC acts to empower some of those broadcast TV stations. It does so by approving the combination of Nexstar and Tegna TV stations. Now, I have been crusading against the Telecom Act of 1994 since 1994. So I know a little bit about this. Okay, Brendan Carr, do radio next. This will be the best thing that can happen to media in your area, wherever it is that you live, folks, is the return of the Mad Zoo morning show to FM. Now, I say that tongue-in-cheek. The reason I say the return of the Mad Zoo, those guys will be local. They will be in a studio down the street from where you listen to them. They will not be syndicated, piped in. And that's fine to a point. They will be local. They live there. They work there. Their children go to school there. That is important. That's how you get what Arthur Bloom is calling new nativism. And you need media. You need local media. So if Brendan Carr, who I believe is a really good man, if Brendan Carr is telling me that this is going to restore local news operations, well, I am 100% for it. Imagine a world in which where all these podcasters reach all of these people and have to broaden their appeal so it's nationwide. Well, why don't you do your podcast based on what is going on in your area? And then you're a guest on the local morning zoo show or the local talk show, and they say, hey, it's a great podcast about old historical places in New Orleans, for example. That's a restoration of what Nisbet called the quest for community, and that's a good thing.
Well, and it might also start to be competitive again in podcasting. Like, yes, podcasting is great because it allows people to have a voice, and I get all of that. But maybe you also can't just turn out, like, a very low standard of podcasts and just do well because of shock value. Because if it's the radio game, you might have to actually put some effort into it. I wouldn't mind that. It's very frustrating to see podcasts that are, like, they're not investigative reporters either. They're just people who spin a conspiracy theory a couple times, to pull a shred out of it that they manufacture into something else. Like, that's not investigative journalism. So when they end up with, you know, podcasts in the top 200 or they're severely monetized on X and all of that, it's very frustrating. I'd love for people to have to compete just in a baseline standard of quality for content.
Yeah, I think that the competition is good. Now, again, we compete. We're competing for market share. No, we're not competing for market share. You're competing for listeners. You're competing for souls for Christ. Everyone in every vocation, no matter what it is, must have the ethical consideration that everything you do must answer the question of before you did it, did you tacitly, directly, maybe just pray about it in the morning, is it towards the good of that you're seeking ye first the kingdom of God so that all these things and his justice can be added to you? It sounds Protestant and preachy and corny, but it's not. It's just simply, it's just reordering your mind away from banks and dollar bills and towards fellow humans and towards community. God will provide the other stuff, and you just have to trust. By the way, bad news. Our beloved Chuck Norris has died. Eternal rest grant unto him. Let perpetual light shine upon him. May he rest in peace. Amen. Eternal rest grant unto him, O Lord. Let perpetual light shine upon him. May he rest in peace. Amen. Eternal rest grant unto him, O God. Let perpetual light shine upon him. May he rest in peace. Amen. I don't know of Chuck's religious condition or anything of the sort. But he was 86. And you know, one of those podcasts, and I'm going to put on podcast.mikechurch.com, is my 2010 interview, Magdalene, that I did with Chuck Norris on his book, Black Belt Conservatism. And I talked to Chuck. You know, he had children very late in life. He had a pair of twins. You know, it was in 2010 when I talked to him. Those twins were like, I don't know, 8-10 years old. So he had children later on in his life. Of course, everyone has a great Chuck Norris joke. I should call Rusty Lamott's son, who was the encyclopedia of Chuck Norris jokes, up. But God rest his soul, and I hope he was on the good side, that he went to the good side of eternity. Because most people that knew Chuck Norris said, yeah, he was a prince of a man, great to work with. And of course, dude, he was Chuck Norris. And who didn't love Chuck Norris? So I'll talk about that. All right, now before you go, Magdalene, one of our listeners, I'm not going to embarrass you, one of our listeners wrote something very, very nice about you. I published it on social media, and we're very proud of the work that you've done. And I just wanted the people to know, you know, Joe Kent made the story, and all of Charliedom is now talking about it, about how Charlie was in the White House talking Trump out of listening to Christian Zionists like Mike Huckabee and neocons to go to war in Iran, which is why they exercised such strength in June of last year when they obliterated the nuclear facilities. Magdalene's reporting on this 2 weeks ago was confirmed by Joe Kent. So, and that's because she has different sources than most people, and that's just, so hey, congratulations, and great job in breaking that story. That was a Mike Church Show exclusive, and we had it weeks before it was confirmed, and now is a news story with Joe Kent. That's good. That's a great thing. Good job.
Thank you. I think it's good when, especially in like my circles, there's so many young conservatives and libertarians who want to talk, and they don't have podcasts, but they definitely want to share why we're at war with Iran.
Well, you'll talk to him, or I'll talk to him, and we'll go from there. All right, Magdalene, have a great weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you Monday. I want to make a small announcement here finally, and I know this is the least listened to hour as a program, but they're all true believers who are still listening right now. So now I'm going to tell you this was not my idea, so I credit all of the wonderful ladies that I work with. So they came up with the idea and kind of pitched it to me, or voluntold it to me. So, and I'm going to do it because I prayed upon it, and the BVM, I got no opposition from her, so I think it's a good idea. Beginning Monday. Now, I don't know how this is going to work, so exactly. And I realize that there's no perfect way to do this, but beginning Monday at noon, if you're listening to the Crusade channel, you will hear the bells, and then you will hear the Angelus, and I will pray it. Now, I will start. I'm going to ask the sisters if they will generate a version or 6 as well, and anyone else that wants to. But we will begin, and I told you when MikeChurch.com became a real thing, and when I became the Ethics in Broadcasting Network, and yes, I am still part of the Crusade channel. I am the anchor. I am the morning show anchor, but I am not the Crusade channel. It can now be its own entity. I told you this would mean hopefully more Catholic crusading stuff, and so this is the fruit, the first fruit. So we will begin the Angelus at noon on Monday. Now, this is noon central. I don't want to do it twice. And I realize that many of you are in the Eastern time zone. Lots of you, probably a third of the audience. And, well, that's not going to work. Well, you know, you can say it at 1 with us, or you could say it at noon or whatever, but it'll be very tastefully done. Nobody's ever heard anything like it, I'm going to tell you right now. You'll hear the Angelus bells, and then I will say the Angelus, and then give you the saint, tell you that you can get the saint of the day on the podcast. But it's just something to add to the Crusade channel. And then I've also been encouraged that because I do it every day and I can pray it in 3 languages, that I should do a rosary for Sunday sermons or sermon Sundays. So I'm going to record all of that this weekend, and this Sunday, probably in the noon hour, instead of an Angelus, we'll do the rosary. So if you want to hear it said and say it along with it, that's fine. We'll put it out as a podcast as well. If you can stand the tone of my voice for 3 decades, 3 mysteries.
I'm telling you, we need to ask KV Turley if he's willing to do it. His voice is amazing.
Well, I'll ask him, and we'll see. We can get others to do to pray it as well. So that is coming to the Crusade channel airwaves. And again, if news breaks out this weekend, we'll break in. Dude numbers are available. Shop.mikechurch.com, and you can reserve your own if you want. Or you could take the next one that's in order. And I think we started at 10 and then removed all the ones that from the census. But you can get a dude number now and a dude number t-shirt and a certificate of authenticity and all that. We'll ship all that to you. Go to shop.mikechurch.com. Folks, we have a lot of Abbey Rose coffee. And I love the brothers. And I know you've been buying lots and lots and lots of Capuchin Holy Roast. But Abbey Rose is fantastic coffee. So consider buying a dude number t-shirt and a bag or 16, literally, of Abbey Rose coffee at shop.mikechurch.com this weekend. Great books, new rosaries from the Little Bayou Rosary, the Rise of the Centurion book. I'm reading it. It's great. E.F. Schumacher, Small is Beautiful. I'm reading it. It's great. The Good to Great by Jim Collins. I read it, and it's fabulous. All available at the all-new Dude Gear store at shop.mikechurch.com. And I thank all of you for listening. You have a choice in what you can listen to every week and what you can watch, and you chose us, and that means a lot to us. Your membership means a lot to you. Your donations, crusadechannel.com/donate. Oh, one more backdoor sneaky kind of appeal to support the Crusade Radio Guild. I am on a nonprofit adventure this coming Thursday and Friday. I'm going to Scottsdale, Arizona, to go meet Sean Davis, Molly Hemingway, and the editors of The Federalist. I was invited because I put my money where my mouth is, and I support them and I donate to them. So they didn't invite me to come and speak. They invited me because I'm a donor. Little did they know. But I think, and I think a lot of, and I have for a decade, of The Federalist. I think it'll be a great opportunity to meet some great people, and many of them are Catholics as well, and to just tell them all about the Mike Church Show and the Crusade. And we'll see what happens. So it's a very expensive trip. Phoenix is a long way away. crusadechannel.com/donate. And I'll send an email out today and ask for your support. But in addition to me going, now you're thinking, oh, great, stupid, best ofs. You suck next Thursday and Friday. Well, actually, aha, jackass. I have, I can make an announcement. Jeff Johnson and Suzanne Sherman will be filling in for me next Thursday and Friday. Woohoo! Awesome. I love Jeff. I love Suzanne. They're both great media and radio talents and personalities. Suzanne was on the Crusade channel for 1.5 years with the Suzanne option. They're both excited. They've got great guests. So next Thursday and Friday, while I'm in Arizona, our new fill-in team of Suzanne Sherman and Jeff Johnson will be hosting the show in its entirety. And y'all can all thank Jeff privately I had to bribe him. He didn't want to do it, but ultimately, when I voluntold him, he caved and he said, "Oh, I talked to Suzanne. She can't wait." So the bench is once again expanding. They're going to be a great part of the Crusade Channel family again, and a great addition to the Mike Church Show to have Jeff and Suzanne together as a team or individually a guest host the show, hopefully when I need them to. So all of that's happening. What a great week. MikeChurch.com is all new, and it is uber cool. Now, the video display, we're still working on what to display when we're not live. But I don't need to give you any more video watch pages. Your video watch page is now at MikeChurch.com. And it's on the homepage, and you can't miss it. And it works beautifully, simply, no tech involved. It's just there for you. So check it out. Shop in the store. If you got a little extra coin to help along with my nonprofit adventure, to spread the word of great talk shows with the editors and the writers at the Federalist and many of the other donors. I'm sure there are many donors. I'm really looking forward to this. Great opportunity to meet some new people, so I'm very excited about it. But it's expensive, and we don't have the money. So I basically do what I always do, took it from savings. So hopefully you can help out with that. If not, all weekend long, great programming here. If you're listening to the Crusade Channel, listen to the Crusade Channel. If you want to browse around, podcast.mikechurch.com. Oh, dude, 11 seasons worth of the Mike Church Show. No, they're not complete. There are some that are close to being complete, including season 8, 9, 10, 11, and 11 are pretty much complete. Maybe even 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Check it out this weekend, podcast.mikechurch.com. And again, I want to thank you all for listening. You have choices to make. You chose us. Means a lot to us. We'll see you on Monday, if not sooner. So, saint of the day, Saint Fotina, pray for us. Have a safe and blessed remainder this Friday, 5th Friday in Lent. God bless you and Mary keep you.